Guess it didn't work. Let's see what happens here. I have to go to my live to see if I'm actually live. Dismiss. I am live. Oh, man, I'm so bummed, though.
What?
Because, well, I'll explain when you sit down. How are you, Angela? We're live.
Sweet.
I'm going to transition you in now because you're about to get in on camera. All right. We are live on live on YouTube. So glad to see you. Why I was bummed is because I'd set it up so that I could do a multicast to YouTube, and then I got some kind of failure just at the last moment. So I'm going now onto TikTok to do it the old school way, and it bums me out. But, you know. I just call it a live entertainment broadcast at this point because I don't know what else to do. So,
Live entertainment?
Yeah. We have one viewer, but they're not identified. Identify yourself. Who are you? Are you following me? What's going on here?
You should be. You should be following me.
Because if you're not, I'd appreciate a follow.
Today's been a day, bro.
They all are.
TGIF. You know what I'm saying?
TGIF, huh?
Whoops. That's my alarm.
Reminding you to be here?
Reminding me to show up, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I know. It's been a crazy day. It's just, one crazy day after another. I totally forgot what's on my thumbnail, pretty much. But, I've got until people show up to figure it out. We now have 3 people here. Identify yourselves!
Don't shout.
Why? It's kind of fun.
Okay,
I shouldn't. I don't have a compressor on yet.
Here's what you have.
What?
Trump sounds like he's about to pardon a PDF.
Yeah.
Trey Parker and Matt Stone, billionaires. Okay?
Yeah, they are. I know. Isn't that crazy?
TikTok dance cult LA house raided.
Yeah. Don't I sound like a fucking guy?
Fantastic Four poised for monster box office. That's pretty good. It's a pretty good show.
What's up, Alyssa? I'm so glad to see you. I wish...
I brought just a couple items.
Okay. Tell me all about them.
Really?
Yeah, please.
Okay. It looks like Pedro Pascal is somebody's doing a smear campaign on him.
Pedro Pascal is being smeared.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to talk a little louder for the folks over at YouTube? Because I tried to get you all tuned up for TikTok. We don't actually have anybody there, so just do whatever you want. Pedro Pascal is being targeted for a smear campaign.
Yes.
Yeah, I heard that. What the fuck is that about?
Well, it just seems a little weird that simultaneously a bunch of blue check accounts all of a sudden started piling on him about how he holds hands with his co-stars when he's doing movie press. And
burn.
And he's doing so much movie press because he is the winningest, most successful dude in Hollywood.
He's
right
on
now.
a stuff my account full of money and be adored by billions.
He has a lot of co-stars. And he has spoken openly about how he is really nervous doing press, and he feels a little bit more assured when he can hold someone's hand. And so his female co-stars are typically the one to hold his hand, but he will go and initiate the hand holding. And people are making a thing of it.
He's a monster. What do you mean? What do you mean people are making... He's a fucking monster. Who would do that?
My favorite one is when they're showing him and Sarah Paulson on the red carpet together and try to make it out like he's making her super uncomfortable by touching her.
Yeah.
And they've been best friends for 30 years.
Yeah.
But mainly what it just boils down to is that they're trying to make him into some sort of villain, he's going to be canceled for Me Too next. But what everybody is somehow neglecting to recognize is that women enjoy physical touch from platonic relationships when there is consent for it.
You know what's funny about that is...
It's not a crazy concept. People like affection from their friends if it's consented and platonic.
Yeah, I can't wait. I want to have a great big discussion about this, so we're going to keep going. But before we do, it's a funny thing that they're attacking or, shifting their attention to Pedro. And we know why, because he's out there being like extremely verbose about Trump, about J.K. Rowling, about...
No, not about J.K. Rowling.
Palestine.
Not about J.K. Rowling, about trans rights. She's constantly grinding, like, nose to the grindstone. No, what's that? What is the saying? Fuck it. J.K. Rowling is absolutely horrible and is constantly targeting. She's punching down and targeting the people that are just trying to fucking survive. Anyway, he went to a big event and he wore a Protect the Dolls t-shirt,
Yeah.
And he's been very outspoken. When he
well, before you go, I was trying to say something. Where I was going was that they're going after him, and and I'm not saying anything's wrong with this, but like nobody's even talking about Harry Styles coming out with literally a sex toy line. And for me, I don't like. I'm sure he's fine, but it's an immediate red flag in these days and age, like this day and age, for a male pop star who's adored by young women to come out with a sex toy line. Yeah, it's a red flag for me.
Yeah, but he's adored by older women too. He's just adored. You think it's a young woman thing?
I just think it's like, listen, I'm not picking on the guy. I'm not looking for trouble.
I don't understand the leap you're making though.
The leap I'm making is that, well, I just think it's like it's, well, the implication on Pedro is that Pedro is, you just said it yourself, he's like in line for the next Me Too is what they're trying to paint it as.
Yeah,
and they have a guy in Harry Styles who's literally creating sex toys and who is adored by young fans all over the world.
This is what I don't understand.
And there's no conversation about him being any kind of potential Me Too. Well,
why would he be?
I can't understand how there's confusion around it. I think it's like a very...
Here's the thing. Why can't he create a line of sex toys?
I didn't say he couldn't.
Okay, but what's the controversy with that?
I mean, that's like me saying, why can't Pedro hold hands?
No, but it's not, though. That's what I'm not
never
understanding.
Mind. Fuck my idea. It's no good.
I don't understand the connection you're making between the two of them.
Doesn't matter. Let's just move on. So anyway,
I'm not ready.
Pedro.
I'm not ready to move on because I want to tell you about some of the things that people have been saying online.
No, I'm not saying. I'm just saying move on from my example.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
This right here is the reason he's being targeted and called an abuser. It's a straight up smear campaign, and it's because he wore a Protect the Dolls shirt on July 24th. Oh wait, today's July 4th. Okay, so somebody posted that yesterday.
JC says that Harry Styles are mostly older. I'm just saying, like, all I'm saying about that is, like, I'm not saying anything bad about it. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I'm just saying, like, if you're going to pick on somebody for looking like he's some kind of predator, maybe a guy who's creating toys is, a place to start. I'm not saying they should. I'm just, like, comparing it. I'm like, you have, like, these people who go, why are you going after this guy who's holding hands? He's holding hands. He's not doing anything overtly...
It's really creepy
sexual
too.
In nature.
The smear campaign's really creepy too. They took some of his actual videos from the red carpet appearances, where he's holding hands, or when he'll like reach over to touch somebody who is interviewing him because he's had a laugh, and he like reaches out to touch them,
Yeah.
In that like a really friendly way, and somebody has AI generated those videos, so they're using the beginnings of the actual videos of him standing on the red carpet, and then they'll AI generate him leaning in to kiss the woman, and her looking uncomfortable. It's really fucking weird. So they're sharing all of these videos of him that aren't actually real. Like he's like pushing in and kissing somebody.
Yeah.
But he's never did that. Isn't that strange?
It's horrible.
Why would somebody do that?
Well, because
the poor guy,
Well, it's because he's a target. He becomes a target, but he's a target because of the things that he says. He's a target because of the stances that he takes. He's a target because he's an openly gay man who is not threatening. He's a non-threatening, openly gay man. Who was it? I think it was Spike Jonze who said after directing him in a commercial that Pedro is the masculinity the world needs today. And that means that is an attack on them. I'll just use that term, them, for lack of a better,
Yeah. So weird. Anyway, I have these I should have organized this better.
No Happy Gilmore spoilers, asks or demands
that's
Delicate.
really funny.
Because she said that she's going to watch it after this live. We should watch it after this live. Do you want to have a little watching party with Delicate?
I do not want to watch Happy Gilmore. I'm sorry.
Really?
I just was never a fan of Adam Sandler comedies. He's just not.
Well, I guess I'll just have to retire to my man cave.
Yeah. That's really funny.
Invite the boys over.
This is my favorite one about Pedro Pascal. They quoted, Pedro Pascal makes women uncomfortable, and meanwhile, women with Pedro Pascal. And it's basically just a collection of photos of him, like, just being surrounded by women who are fawning over him and, like, laughing.
I mean, it was like Scarlett Johansson.
The pictures are, like, 10 years apart. Like, he is never not adored by the women around him.
Yeah, in his whole life, I've never...
But people are so perplexed. They're like, how is this possible? And it's like, dude, you just have to be nice.
I've never heard a person say a bad thing about him. And it's just like Scarlett Johansson when she kissed that dude on the lips.
Yes.
Who was like, gayer than Pedro. You know what I mean? But everyone wanted to make this big deal that, the divorce papers are coming.
Yeah, right.
And meanwhile, it was just her kissing a man with whom she felt safe to express that deep, intimate relationship that had nothing to do with sexuality whatsoever.
She must have known that she was creating a controversy, though.
I'm sure.
On the lips is a big deal.
It is. Listen, but you know what? I walked into Joe's house, and she planted one right on my lips right after you walked in.
That was really weird.
They were soft. They were really
soft.
soft. Those lips.
If I had seen that, I probably would have yanked her into the kitchen and been like, "What the fuck, Joe?"
I'm such a. I don't know why I didn't say anything to this day. I'm not sure. I don't understand why I didn't be like, Joe, what are you kissing me on the fucking lips for? I barely even know you. She was attracted to me. It was clear. I don't know.
It's a really strange thing to do.
There is fucking a lot to take in. I'm so glad it was just lips. You know what I'm saying?
Like in any culture, it's a super strange thing to do, but especially American culture. Oh my God. It's super weird.
It says we have absolutely nobody on our live right now, but
that's okay.
I gotta believe that's not true.
I'm having a nice time hanging out with you.
You are?
Yes. I just think that maybe the problem is that people don't know that Pedro Pascal is out.
I think people know. Well, if people wouldn't know who don't care or who don't follow anything, but if anybody's read anything about him or had any curiosity about him, it's kind of the first thing you learn about him. He speaks out very openly about, obviously he has a trans sister who he is openly supportive of.
No. I'm saying I wonder whether that's why this smear campaign has got any legs whatsoever, is because people think that he's a straight guy doing, cuddling with his co-stars.
No, I think it's I think it's because of the things he says. I think he's being attacked by an institution.
Yeah, so he was absolutely right when he told off J.K. Rowling. And she didn't let it go for weeks. She kept commenting on it. And she would comment on it in this way that she was like, oh, it's no big deal. It doesn't bother me. But it was weeks later that she still seemed pretty miffed about it. So it could just be her. She could just be the one doing it. I mean, I don't think it's a coincidence that it's on this is the release weekend for Fantastic Four, right?
Yeah, it just had its preview.
Yeah. So
and it's poised to have a monster box office run. I don't know if you've heard.
So why is somebody screwing with the studio success?
Well, because it's got to be somebody who wants. So that's what I'm talking about. It's the anti-Hollywood establishment, normally attributed to the alt-right. This is what they do. They go and they pick their fights, and then they go and they'll try to destroy and deface them and defame them in order to not allow those people to have any influence over their minions, whom they are trying to keep close to the breast. And that's what this is all about. This is all about attacking Hollywood with Hollywood. And and the cool thing about being able to target somebody like Pedro in this instance is because they know, I mean, you had a laugh about it a few lives ago. They know that their supporters don't really read. They don't look into anything. So they're able to target these people with
like that AI video. I mean, it's just appalling.
And when you talk
what
about
they have him doing, obviously he didn't fucking do any of that stuff.
And when you talk about yeah, exactly. That exactly. So that is
weird.
That's who's targeting him, and there's no other reason. You can't draw. There's no conclusion. Who would go after Pedro Pascal for what? for being in the press too much, that's absurd. That's absurd. Everybody knows that's just going to come and go anyway.
Yeah, I know. And also to like paint him as if he's doing SH on his co-stars when none of them have ever complained about it. Anything. They only have nice things to say about him. It's really weird. Like I don't understand. Like, dude, nobody's complaining. It's obviously made up.
Mateo in Prague, in the Czech Republic, they always kiss everyone on the mouth. Sometimes it was uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Listen, I would have a hard time with that.
Me too.
Do you know what I mean?
Oh man.
Especially now, but even before there were, there was a pandemic every other day.
I bet it's a generational thing too. I wonder if the new generation is like, "Hey, man, like how about we stop doing that?"
Right?
That's so interesting. I thought that I had family that came from like one of the most relaxed cultures about that. I have Brazilian family, and they do like the 2 kisses, like one on one cheek and one on another.
That's all over Europe.
And sometimes you'll encounter somebody who you're greeting that'll like turn in, So like instead of doing like a cheek where you just like mwah in their ears, sometimes they'll like really plant one on you. That's always a little weird. You're like, nice to meet you. I
feel like if you're in Europe and you actually plant one, like I've been in Europe, I've been in that awkward situation where I'm supposed to do this, and like I nailed like a good moist, left a good print. You did a good like if you
like you're the kisser. You're not just touch cheeks.
It was
and pretend to do the
because
thing?
I was not practicing this, and so the idea of kissing the cheek meant literal to me.
Oh man,
I kept my tongue in my mouth, but.
You didn't like slurp all the way up?
I didn't give her like any kind of, inappropriate licks
temple.
of the face or anything. But I did a couple of, like I planted a couple of like wet ones and just was flooded right afterward because, everybody, I watched everyone because I didn't know what to, holy fuck, we're kissing. Because, I'm from Canada where I didn't touch anybody.
It is really awkward, dude. When your family's like hosting a big dinner party and a bunch of people stream in through the door at the same time and everybody else
kisses. Oh yeah,
it's just like so fucking tedious. You're like, can't you just?
And it's just like you're making wrinkles. Like you're making wrinkles. If you do it that much, like in Prague or whatever, you're making wrinkles. You're making kiss lines, especially because they're all pucker kisses.
Americans do it best. Just like fist bump. What's up, bro?
Yeah, Canadians kind of just nod. They're like, how's it going? How's it going? This is when I was living there. We're like, how's it going? Hey, how's it going? That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
That's all you need.
Hey, how's it going? Like if somebody you really love. Oh, hey, how's it going?
A bunch of nods. Yeah.
Enthusiastic nods. Rarely a hug. Rarely any kind of touch. And I don't mind that at all. We were watching that show, 1820 whatever. What was it? 1824? 1829?
What?
The show. Remember the show was like that it was in 1800 something? With the people in it?
I don't remember this. What was it about?
It was a show of the girl who had the nice hair and she kissed the native man on his mouth, and I was like, they wouldn't do that.
Yes, right. It was a Taylor Sheridan show.
Yeah, exactly.
And we were both so we had to look it up because there's a kissing scene.
I didn't have to look it up. I immediately said
I had to look it up.
I do not believe that a Native American would be kissing a woman on the mouth during this time.
Just culturally, did they kiss? And there's a lot of cultures that just don't kiss. It's not something they do.
And they're
romantically, you don't kiss your kids. It's just kissing isn't a thing.
Yeah.
And so I had to look it up. I didn't know that you already knew this.
I did. I mentioned it. I brought it up.
Apparently that was not a correct.
Was not. It was bad writing.
But maybe he had assimilated into
No, he was very
settler
much a part of his tribe. He was a very much.
He wasn't colonized into kissing?
No. That was just bad writing. It's the kind of writing that makes me fucking crazy when I get my Annie Wilkes. My Annie Wilkes starts to brew up inside me. Yeah. And be like, what do you mean, dude? Did you even fucking bother?
Yeah.
Did you even bother to look up what these people would or would not do?
You're trying to trick your audience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're trying to create a romance that doesn't exist. Mm-hmm. And not to mention that, like, first of all, that restraint, like, for me as a writer, I would much have preferred to follow the reaction. Like, she goes in and he's like, what the fuck is this? And, we have this problem that has to be solved now. Do you know what I mean?
Or maybe he's not startled, but he's just like, we don't do that.
Yeah, sorry, people. Yeah, right?
Yeah. Cosmic Urgency said Pedro isn't out publicly. People theorize he's gay now.
That's not true. He's very out.
So Cosmic Urgency is accusing you of spoiling.
That's not true.
Now it's confirmed.
Pedro has never been in a closet ever in his life. He is 100% out. He's always been out.
I believe this is true. Also, he's
I know it's fucking true.
He was recently photographed leaving a hotel with an out. There's such like a smoking couple too. I can't remember his name.
You gotta talk a little louder, or YouTube is TikTok is out of your range.
That's okay. I'm not saying anything worthwhile anyway.
Oh, that's not true.
I can't remember a dude's name. It's like we could just move on. But yeah, I believe that it's most people are like that they know that he's out, but they're just not telling anybody because they think it's really fun to see all the women develop crushes on him.
This you guys are crazy. What are you guys talking about? Pedro's never been in. Why are you guys talking as if Pedro was in the closet? It's never happened.
I don't think he is either. Who's saying that?
You just said it. That. You just said Pedro.
I'm saying that people
Pascal,
don't know, and they're not telling anybody. People that know aren't telling anybody, because it's more fun to see everybody fawn over Pedro as if he's a straight
man. Pedro Pascal shares first celebrity crushes, and they're all gay icons. Like, he's gay. He's openly gay. He's always been openly gay. He's never, ever... He can't possibly fathom... He doesn't even know what a closet is as it relates to his sexuality. That's not a possibility for him. It's never been a possibility for him. Impossible. Impossible!
And nor should he. Nor should he know what a closet is.
He's very much out in the great wide open. And
where he belongs.
But the thing is that it's the assumption he's gay. It's the assumption he's straight. This is always the fucking assumption. Everybody's default assumption is that somebody is straight. And that wouldn't be necessarily a bad thing if it weren't for the fact that they somehow get like a bit slanted or like tilted when they fucking find out that they're wrong. I'm getting a little angry about it.
Mandy said the door on the closet is glass.
Exactly.
Mandy said only a Gold Star gay could.
Yeah, right.
Oh, sorry. This continues. I thought that stood alone as its own awesome comment. But she said only a Gold Star gay could pull off that black mask.
There you go. Exactly. A Gold Star gay is the best. Pedro's a Gold Star gay.
I was thinking that only a Gold Star gay could solicit so much affection from every single one of his female co-stars. You know, it's like people don't realize, like, I guess Me Too scrambled everybody's brains, but I thought it was very clear that the problem was always about consent. It's not like women don't like affection from men. Like, women love affection from men when it's safe, you know?
Yeah, and it confuses straight men. And you're bringing up another point, but I think it's a really good one. And I think that there's some jealousy between straight men who can't understand that kind of, and I also want to point out that...
I'm sorry, you've never been safe to the women around you.
Yeah, but can we talk about that because...
affectionately on them.
Can we talk about that? Because it doesn't seem like the way you say that isn't really a fair statement. Like, to me, it doesn't feel like as a white cis male, and I understand, that, I'm rooted in evil, but, and I don't even argue that I'm barely sarcastic about that. But as a white cis male, me fawning over a woman would be an inappropriate thing. Or me hands-on all over a woman who isn't my lover, especially if I'm married or with somebody else, would be a terribly inappropriate thing. The thing that is being confused here is that we should be able to fawn over... What's that?
I don't believe that you're right about that. Like, you don't have the experience of having...
I mean...
Let me tell you. You don't have the experience of having a sister, okay?
Yeah.
But if you had a sister... You guys might have grown up your entire life cuddling together on the sofa watching TV, and so holding hands in public, or her or you draping your arm on the other one, just showing physical affection wouldn't be a big deal. And I'm telling you that it's the same.
I'm not talking about a sibling.
I know you're not. I'm making a point that it's the same sort of familial bond that you can build with somebody who's your coworker, just the same. I don't know that you've had the opportunity to do that. A lot of people don't seek that kind of affection from other people because they just don't like physical touch, It seems as though Pedro Pascal has match-made himself with these friendships where they're accepting of his touching and they're receptive, and he's receptive of theirs. Like, it doesn't seem like it's some controversy because nobody's complaining about it. But I don't think that it's very fair to make it seem like it's impossible.
I didn't say it's impossible. I just said that it's unlikely. Look, this is the when Harry met Sally conversation.
See this?
I did, and I just have to work on it after the live, unfortunately.
I didn't realize that I had my microphone.
I put it up, so it just falls out. Now
falls?
I guess now I got another issue. Well, don't help it. Just keep your eye on it. And
I got you.
Okay. This is like another when Harry met Sally situation, right? That's what this is. This is just basically another, or it's a can men and women be friends without there being a sexual tension in there? And the question is, the answer to that question is a bold-faced yes. The problem is that that's not going to be just your open default mode, number one. And number two is that it can change at any given moment for any one of those two heterosexual partners. If they're or any two heterosexual partners, there is going to innately be some kind of sexual tension between two people who might be sexually compatible if what you have is a deeply intimate relationship. It doesn't mean it's going to happen. There's no default to it, but the idea that it lingers there as a possibility is the first doubt in the affection and in the affection's intent. So a common thing written about this is when you have two heterosexuals of opposite sex who have been friends forever. This is a common thing in film and television, mostly written by men, which tells you a little bit about the situation more. But that they're good friends. They've been friends their whole lives, and then there comes that moment at some point in time. Could be they were friends from kids, and then at some point they have this moment where there's the tension of I love you. I had this expectation, whether it's physical or romantic or future or whatever. So it's just always going to be. But more to my point though is that if you have the situation where I'm a heterosexual male and you're a heterosexual female, and I'm showing that affection on you and we're not a couple, the question is going to come up in your subconscious at the very least, if not your conscious, that is this just, even if it's been, something that seems acceptable. Because there's that, and I think so. I believe that, because I don't believe you can excuse the fact that two people have that potential. Like, for example, what we don't see is Pedro doing that publicly with men. We don't see that happening. We don't see Pedro publicly fawning or holding or being intimate in this way with men. There's no pictures of that. Nobody's talking about it. And the truth is that if it was happening, in all likelihood, he would be perceived as promiscuous because he's openly gay and he's touching all these men publicly. And so this is a part of why I think there's a little bit of it's just like because we're not respecting the dynamic and instead are ready to jump on I think the wrong idea here. Because it's not an idea just of safety. I mean, safety is obviously in play here, and you're making a great point that safety is there, and that's what safety looks like, and that's what it feels like, and it's a wonderful thing. And I also don't
mean safety as opposed to physical danger. I also mean safe as opposed to they're not going to make a big deal out of it. Like if I hold my friend's hand because we're in a platonic relationship, and somebody one of us decides they just want to appreciate physical touch, whatever, maybe they're going through something,
Yeah.
Safe also means that they're not going to turn it into some sort of, romantic thing that then you have to, some complicated thing you have to navigate. So safe doesn't, I wasn't using it just in the context of safe versus danger.
No, I knew how you meant it. I knew exactly how you meant it. The safety of knowing that there was nothing romantic or sexual or temporary involved here. And I think that's, look, it's kind of a sad thing because in a perfect world, in a utopia, we can have the both worlds, right? We can have the world where I have these great relationships, right? Where intimacy, friendship intimacy can be expressed freely and openly and without judgment or without fear or doubt, and also be heterosexual and still have those types of relationships and interactions. Yeah, but the truth is that as soon as you start mixing those things up, the question marks come, and then that safety of whether or not is Dale being affectionate because he's my friend, or does Dale want something, or is he thinks he's gonna get something, or and this is particularly driven toward men. It's not really women. From the men's perspective, it's like, I wonder if she's actually into me, and then it's as if that question were to come up. It's almost as if it introduces now that question of like, are we moving toward intimacy? And then now there's the sort of violation or the blurred line.
The most harmful like term that ever was invented in this context was friend zoning.
Right.
It's so destructive.
It's destructive. It's
because
horrible.
What's so incredible is that
it's destructive to everybody.
Nobody ever thinks about the alternative viewpoint. Like, okay, you are worried that you're friend zoned because you wanted to get your friend in bed the entire time, I guess. But your friend has to realize that they've been fuck zoned, you know, where they had a friend that they thought was a good friendship.
Yes.
But it turned out that you were just like bargaining with them and waiting and biding your time or doing fucking whatever manipulation, I guess. Yeah. That's a really bad realization.
It is. Know? It's horrible. It's not fair. It's the one that makes it's what breaks this whole thing up. It's what made when Harry Meets Sally such a great movie and such a great debate, because it's a debate that'll never end, because the reality is that both things are true. You can have these great intimate, kind, true relationships with opposite sex, heterosexual, right? Or people who are sexually compatible, we'll say, right? But you can also understand why there's always some doubt or some question as to whether or not intimacy like that might eventually be misperceived.
Yeah.
One wrong signal, and it's just like, it's a funny thing because like I have a gay friend who has like, who's like he's a very touchy-feely friend, He'll hug you or whatever. He's not like openly crazy about it, but like he's somebody who will accept the affection of another. He understands like the benefit of human physical connection that is non-sexual. He understands it very well. And he has a lot of young male friends compared to him, like proportionately, like they might be 10 or 15 years his junior or something like this. Nothing major, but younger nonetheless, and straight males, and he's gay. And he's had a couple of his friends with whom their relationships got so close that they cuddled like multiple times, non-sexually. Do you know what I mean? So and both were kind of like like openly cool about it. Do you know what I mean? Like there was nothing blurred between them. Friends for dozens and dozens of years, if they're still friends today. Do you know what I mean? Never ever having had any kind of sexual relationship whatsoever, but have had moments where they just cuddled each other. And it was cool because it's a sort of the Pedro effect in this way. This gay man created a place where the barriers could be dropped so far that a heterosexual cis male, right, can
enjoy physical affection,
can snuggle in with a guy and feel great for a minute,
like human beings need to. You know? It was so weird. It was such a culture shock when I moved to Brazil as a teenager, and I went to a high school there, and I saw all of the boys were very openly affectionate with each other. And there wasn't any, they weren't dating or anything. It was
in
just
Brazil.
Yes.
Yeah, you could see. We saw it when we're rolling and all the Brazilians would come in. They're touching, they're hanging on each other, they love each other.
Yeah, in between class periods, you'd see these, one dude would be sitting on the steps and the other guy would be laying across the stairs with his head on his lap. And you would just never see that with male teenagers in the US. That would be a scandal. But everybody just does that. It's just normally you just show affection to your friends.
My parents
and it's not a big deal at all. And it was so refreshing. And I was like, wow, America really has a sick culture. And I think that part of the reason why everybody is so stressed the fuck out by the time they reach adulthood is because we're also starved. For affection, for normal bonding, there's so many barriers and these really weird rules where we're limited emotionally from engaging with people. There's a right way and there's a wrong way, but they're all natural ways.
It has to do with a lot of the way you're raised. My dad was was orphaned. He had no physical affection. He was he was orphaned during a time when kids were fostered into basically work camps on farms. They weren't affectionately cared for. They were turned into farm hands at 13 and 14 years old as they got fostered by these people who whipped them and treated them like slaves. And so he had none of that. And he was running. My mom and him, they run an apartment building. And so they have all these tenants. It's a lot. It's 250 suites, hundreds and hundreds of people live there. It's wild. And one of their tenants is this Mexican family living in Canada, immigrants. And they had some relatives come up, and the father, and we were up in the suite, and the daughter is gorgeous, 13-year-old girl, like just gorgeous, drop dead gorgeous kid, just like, oh my God, this kid's gonna break hearts, just beautiful, beautiful. And her father, a pot-bellied middle-aged man who enjoys his cerveza, right? Sitting there, talking or whatever. And then the daughter comes up and she curls up in her lap. It's right in the man's crotchal region the way I'm like totally like, and it's his daughter, right? But it's not like there's nothing sexual going on. This is just like an intimate.
Well, the way you're describing it makes it seem like somebody's sexualizing.
I don't know how to put. Well, my dad did. This is where I'm putting it because she was just, to me, it was nothing except a very cool, like affectionate moment between a father and his daughter, or uncle, or I can't remember, but it was somebody visiting and the other kid, whatever. It was nothing. There was nothing. But my dad, we left that apartment. Oh fuck! He talked about it for 3 fucking straight days. Couldn't get past it. Couldn't. There's something going on there. I was like, Dad. The only thing going on there is that you don't understand the difference between affection, love, and affection. You haven't had it. I think I've hugged you twice in my life. You're no man to judge this. You have no fucking. This is beyond your scope. You're out of your.
I know. God forbid a man is affectionate with his kid.
But it's how you're raised. I mean, that's the point I was trying to make here. Is that it's like how you're raised. For me, I had to learn that too. I talk about it in the book, like the hugs. It's like, what the fuck is the hugs? Why you gotta touch me, bro?
Some people are just super touchy, dude.
Well, yeah, I would be too if I had an affectionate father and an affectionate mother. I was pretty much untouched. You know what I mean? Like hugging was a non-existent thing. Most of the physical affections I got from my father were anger based. So there you go. It's not the same. And yeah, I just wanted to. I just thought it was worth making pointing out that it's not the same. It's not just like some kind of broken thing. There's it's like racism, misogyny, racism, all these things. Like they often go far deeper than just somebody having some kind of a thought or reading some stupid book or going to college and being indoctrinated into something. They actually, most racists, most misogynists are raised by them. They're born into it. I'll never forget. There was a Donahue episode when I was young. This is the thing that really opened my eyes to racism in a way that I'd never perceived, And it was Donahue, and it was like KKK members and black people. I don't know if they were a part of an organization, the black people, but it might have been just like some black people.
That was like the worst thing of the 90s, that people were made to fucking confront people that like didn't want them to exist.
Well, this was
it like passed off as entertainment. It's just horrible. Like,
this was ahead of its time.
It just helped to normalize these things so much. Like, oh, look, we can all just talk in a room. Like, no, actually they want to eradicate this other group. So they shouldn't be able to come to the table. Like we could like what are you going to have them debate with these people that they have a right to exist? Like, why are we having a conversation like that?
Well, where I was going was that the thing that affected me was that there was this Donahue show, and he had this KKK clan, these Klan members, and then he had this black family, and Donahue, and the KKK members had little toddler kids, where just basically like just learning how to communicate really, and so he gets on one knee, does Phil Donahue, and he says to the little white kid, he says. Something about what do you feel about all this? Because they just had a conversation, and the little white kid said, "I hate the N-word." That's what he said, or something to that effect. It was shocking, right? We were all just like aghast. And then Phil Donahue said, "Can you point to the N-word?" He just said, "Can you just point to the N-word?" And the kid stood there. He didn't know what to fucking do. The kid was dropping the N-word. It was like it makes the hair stand on my. It changed my life, because this was before Jerry Springer. This was before all that stuff that you're talking about. Where American. This was when like Donahue was actually a guy who mattered and cared. He got these ratings, and it was, everyone tried to exploit what he was doing, which was actually a really good thing because this is the kind of value you got out of his show. He was like the first Oprah in that way. And it was just a profound moment.
That is profound.
Because this kid was just sitting there like didn't know what to do. Looked back at the parents, and the parents were like pointing.
Yeah, like trying to help him out.
Yeah, teaching.
Yeah.
The fucking racist.
I want to bring the conversation back because that's a really good segue. It's the same thing about like this these like anti-trans accounts and like J.K. Rowling and everything. They don't even know what they hate so much. Like the other day we were talking about these like transvestigators that will put up a picture of like a cis woman.
Right.
And they'll like they'll point out their body type and be like, well, that's definitely a man.
Right.
Like for this reason and this reason. And all of it is just like, that's just a woman who has like muscles, or
like Candace Owens is doing to the First Lady of France.
A woman who like inherited her father's jawline. Like it's really not. And what it does is they're just for some reason they're convinced that there is a female and a male type, and if you diverge from the norm, their norm, even in the slightest bit, you deserve expulsion. Ugh. Right? You deserve to not exist. And so that what results is like you see all these people who start to film in the bathroom when they've been confronted by somebody who is accusing them of not belonging in that bathroom where they do belong. Yeah. And they're filming for their own safety. And then like obviously the cops have to get involved, and they're like, I am this gender. I'm in the right bathroom. This person is crazy. I've just been bullied for nothing. But that's the end result, is that they don't even know who they're attacking. They don't even know why. It's just this hate campaign and that it's like this circular reasoning where you're like, I dislike it, so I hate it, and I hate it, so I dislike it. Like there's really no purpose, you know?
There is no purpose. You look really great tonight.
Hey, thanks.
Cosmic Urgency is going to start reading Harry Potter. Well, it's good. I highly recommend Harry Potter. The books are great.
You don't highly recommend Harry Potter.
The books, I do, yeah. Highly recommend them.
Even with everything that J.K. Rowling
She's made her money, dude. The money is not an issue. You're not supporting her. The support has been made. She had lineups around mall blocks for years waiting for her books to come out. All of the money has been made. All of the trappings are done for her. This isn't an accolade to her. Again, you know, we talk about this a lot on this live, and I like that we do. There's a separation of art and person. J.K. Rowling is a piece of trash. But you know, I bought the Harry Potter game because I love the franchise. I love what she created. And look, there's even more controversy behind it. My brother, whether or not he's correct about this, I don't know, but he told me that she stole that from a graphic novel and that she settled out of court because there was this graphic novel not called Harry Potter, but had a little witch guy who, went in and learned. And so we don't know to what extent of a horrible person she is, but we do know that she did produce these books, however way they were produced. And they're fucking wonderful. I've read 3 of them. Yeah. And I don't regret a word of them.
You do have this idea of like separating the art from the artist. Is that strict? Does that apply to everybody? Or is there a way, or are there some people whose crimes are so great that you would reject the art because of the artist?
Well, I have not read Mein Kampf. So there are limits. Yeah, there are limits, but it's a personal choice. It's a personal decision. You get to decide what is the separation of art, and I don't think that there should be any shame around that. I'm going to little Richard on this in a hurry, because it's like the art is the art. It's out there. It's yours to have if you can have it, and separate the two. If you're going to be out there in my presence, try to support or persuade me to support somebody like J.K. Rowling, don't expect me to be your friend, or don't expect me to be friendly about it.
No, I understand, but what's your philosophy on this, on separating the art from the artist? Why do you believe that people should do that?
Because we are faced constantly, especially now, but always through time and memoriam, probably, with becoming fans first and then learning of their horrible ways later. So it's this betrayal that we always have to live through as the fans of the people, of the fans of the work. And I'm tired of it. I want to love the work. And I want people to love Leonardo DiCaprio movies. I made one. Do you know what I mean? So I'm in the one breath, I'm telling everybody that this guy did some horrible stuff to me and to others, and that maybe he isn't the guy we think he is because he doesn't seem to be. But I would never tell people to not watch his movies. I would never tell people to to boycott anything that he does ever, because first of all, it's not my place. Secondly, there's a separation between art and person. And if, I would not buy J.K. Rowling's new book. I would not. Do you know what I mean? I would not. And if she wrote a new book and it sold, like crazy, I would be disappointed. I don't think Mike Tyson deserves to be exalted. We have this, I've heard this argument over and over again. He served his time. Okay, he doesn't need to be exalted. Just because he served his time that means he gets out of jail.
Yeah, that means he gets to live in public.
All it means when he serves his time is that he gets to live out of jail now. His reward is to get out of jail, not be exalted by humanity, not be revered, not be the subject of one of the biggest pay-per-views in his sports history while he's a senior fucking citizen, just exploiting people.
I want to stick on the topic of separating the art from the artist. Because a lot of people feel really strongly about this. They will boycott a piece of art very, very quickly.
Yeah.
Because somebody involved in it did a bad thing.
I think it's a personal decision to make, and I think there are limits. I would, it was like the sad thing, for example, is like, and it's not just limits. It's also like, what can you watch? Like, I could never watch Bill Cosby in anything. It's not possible.
Yeah.
It's just I can't look at the man. What Leonardo DiCaprio did to me is inexcusable, right? I want fucking justice. I'm fighting for it every goddamn day. I do lives every day, just hoping that at some point I'm going to expose something and something's going to move and I'm going to hit the mainstream with my story. I want it badly. But I don't think that what he did means he's an unwatchable movie star. Do you know what I mean? So it's about understanding where the limits are and then how to deal with those. Do you know what I mean? How do you deal with them?
I'm very I'm a lot more superstitious about the topic of separating the art from the artist.
I'd love to hear it.
I believe that I feel like when you create a piece of art, you really imbue it with its own spirit. Like it lives. It came to life through you, much like a child would. And then you put it out in the world and it's got its own life to live, right? Like it makes its own impression on people and people get to interpret it separate from what you intended its interpretation to be. And so I feel like in that way, the art is already separate. We don't have to decide to separate it from the artist. It is separate.
Right.
Now, like there are limits. Like you wouldn't say like Ed Gein, who would like stitch together housewares made of human skin. Like you wouldn't separate that art from the artist. No. Because the art itself.
It's such a cozy blanket.
Because the art itself is evidence of his crimes. Like if you, if somebody was like a painter, but they, they abused the muse that they used as a model for their painting or something, that would be different. But it's really, really easy to separate the art from the artist when you're talking about film, because it takes like dozens of people to make a film. So if one jerk off who is like acting in the film ends up being somebody who nobody wants to watch anymore, that doesn't make the entire film like trash, because a bunch of other people made it. It was written by somebody who may not have been involved in any of that controversy. It was directed by somebody who may not have known that the person was a bad person, like exactly. All the way down the line. Like there's dozens of artists and especially with back end participation, like they all deserve to profit off of their work, even though one guy got canceled, So I have a really easy time separating the art from the artist, just because I have this superstitious idea that it is already on its own and living without our judgment of the artist,
I agree. I don't have an easy time doing it. Like I definitely have a very hard time doing it. Like for example, like I don't remember the last Leonardo DiCaprio movie I watched. I do remember the last Tobey Maguire movie I watched because it was Brothers. And I remember like having a really fucking difficult time.
Yeah, like in his freak out scene where you're like, wow, that's familiar.
Yeah, and just seeing him like being directed by one of my favorite directors on the earth. And I'm glad I didn't like the movie very much.
Yeah, it doesn't look
in general. I just didn't like the movie very much. I didn't think it was a strong movie.
I saw that freak out scene and I was like, damn, like none of this looks good. Like especially when he like walks out and there's cops.
Some people love it.
It just is so bad.
Very over the top. But just not a lot of restraint. But he at least completely commits to his freak out. It doesn't matter. The point that I'm saying is that I can barely I barely made it through that movie. And like so watching I can't watch Ethan Suplee. I can't watch that guy. That guy makes me sick. That guy makes me as much or even more sick than Toby. Because I can like Toby, I know he had a motive.
Yeah, Ethan didn't
just
have anything to gain.
Just dumb fucked his way into screwing me and RD and a whole bunch of other people over.
That's true.
He just dumb fucked his way into it.
Yeah.
It's the same with Scott Bloom.
He had nothing to win.
Scott Bloom, anyway. Kevin Connolly, starfuckers. That's why they did it. They did it because they knew that we didn't do anything wrong, that we didn't harm anybody, that making Don's Plum was a perfectly fucking natural thing to do, since we all stood on our marks and delivered our performances. But,
Do you want to hear from the chat?
Yeah, fuck yeah, they've been roaring. Let's hear it.
Mandy said that Pedro Pascal adores women in the best way.
Yes.
Any girls who have had random interactions with him literally say he's incredible and instantly makes them feel comfortable and safe.
I can attest to this personally. I knew him for years. He is the easiest person to be in a room with probably that I've ever had in my life. Even, listen, I've been in the room when he was in the worst state of his life, and it was still easy. Yeah. And that can't be said about me. Like, I am not easy to be in the room, and on the worst day of my life, worst hour of my life could be fucking difficult for somebody, or worst hour of my day. So
yeah, you have like it's really interesting how you have like this kind of really unique magnetism, where like your mood, it kind of changes the room. It is interesting. Like, I feel like that's a superpower you could learn to wield, you know?
Yeah.
Your influence is a lot bigger than I think you realize.
Well, I think this is true for most of us, actually. But and as true as that is, we're just really comparing, these two people and personalities. Right. To Pedro was somebody who, like, yeah, I mean, he was just the most delightful thing I ever met and knew in my life. I loved him. Listen, Pedro, when I first met Pedro, his name was Pedro Balmaceda. He did not have any credits whatsoever, that were worthwhile. Law and Order, a couple like things like that. And he had a short film that I liked, and RD and I were writing a feature for him immediately upon meeting him. We were just like this, like if we would have hit with Dawn's Plum, Pedro was first in line for the guy we wanted to make our next movie with. Mm-hmm. So to trust a guy like that young, that early, without the experience, not DiCaprio, he's not. We were ready to put a full feature film on his lap. And that it's just the kind of, and it's not just his talent. It's also, you can feel it. You can just feel his abilities, in the room. He's just a real congruent and wonderful guy.
Cosmic Urgency said that Pedro Pascal listed Olivia Newton-John and Michelle Pfeiffer as crushes, and the article talks about how he's been embracing queer culture. Why would they say that about a publicly out celeb?
Who said this?
Cosmic Urgency.
Okay,
he's still
Cosmic.
In
He's not. Okay,
he's out.
Okay, fine. He's in the closet. Everyone, Pedro's straight. He's never kissed a boy on the mouth in his life. I don't know what to tell you, bro. I don't know what to tell you. Pedro's openly gay, and everybody knows it. But we could pretend,
There's a little debate about, the battle of the sexes. You want to hear it?
Uh-huh.
Mandy says, Dale, in theory, you're correct, but the difference is women are not dangerous with it. Women fawn over good-looking men as a bit of fun and nothing further, no creeping. Whereas a lot of men, the stats speak for themselves.
Well, yeah, I mean...
And then 99 times out of 100, the guy will be thinking of pursuing someone sexually. 99 times out of 100, the woman would see them as a friendship. We are wired so differently.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't disagree with any of that. I think men are definitely, by default, interested in something more than a friendship if they're interested in a woman.
I'm not really a big fan of these generalizations because it's, it assumes that women aren't trying to get laid too, And
we know that's not true. We know that women are trying to get laid, and I don't think it just assumes that. Those numbers are obviously, incorrect. But what she's saying is, and I think it's a fair statement, is that majority of men are going to, by default, be thinking about something more than a friendship when first encountering a woman of interest, and a woman is not necessarily that. Now, I know that's not necessarily true. I mean,
it's, again, with the generalization.
No, because women will see a handsome man that's up, right up their alley, or whatever, what they deem handsome. Whatever.
I used to hang out with a very, very attractive man, and I used to go. We would always go to bars, and we were not interested in each other. We just weren't each other's type. But I did know his type, and he liked these like blonde model types.
Yeah.
And he had like tractor beam, like he would attract them from everywhere. And you can't tell me that those women didn't come up to him with designs, Every
sure.
single one of them was like trying their very best, like
the biggest selling,
their
the
very
best,
best
the biggest selling,
flirtation, you know?
the biggest selling genre on the planet in books right now is
romance.
Romance.
Yeah, especially they're like,
and it's hot romance. It's like smutty romance. It's like,
yeah, they rate them with like how many chili peppers.
yeah.
You know?
Shades of Grey did not become popular because of men.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I won't make that generalization.
But the difference though is that
women aren't on the prowl. You know?
Well, yeah, but they might be on the prowl, but they might not. Like, I think it's very clear that the intimidation is on the men's side mostly in this situation. And so, you know, I mean, I don't disagree with you that generalizations are difficult, but you know, are generally unfair. You know, and untrue. They're not normally true.
Yeah, I mean, they're
sentiments
also
though. They contain within them sentiments that I think do often lead to, you know, credible ideas. And I truly believe, being a man myself, that men are generally more interested earlier in a relationship that's beyond friendship than a woman is. Like, in fact, men go into relationships with women knowing that. They're like, okay, this may take some time, but I'm going to make this girl love me. Like, this is a part of what men think. Is their psychology, their psychology going into it.
Every single man on the planet, it's just like these generalizations are.
It's obviously not every single man. I'm saying that culturally men, I'm telling you that, like, I can say this is true about almost every single friend I've ever had.
Okay.
Yeah. Nothing is everything. You know, like in terms of universals, there are no universals.
Well, I don't know enough about the terminology, right, to talk very, very authoritatively about like feminism. But there's a kind of feminism, a branch, whatever, where it's very much directed at trying to undo the stigma of like the feminine coded things for men, specifically for men. Like, why do we not raise young boys to seek female friendships? Why do we not raise young boys to enjoy flower arranging or like any of the female coded things? Like,
yeah,
how come it's weird for a little boy to want to go into ballet? Like these like strange things that are not, like flowers are a really good example because they're not for women. They exist in nature. Anybody can enjoy them. But for some reason, it's very strange for men to want to enjoy them. It's like a thing. So it's interesting. It's interesting to bring this up in the debate, I think. Liz Plank actually was on the Man Enough podcast because she wrote a book about this.
Right.
She wrote a book about feminism. I think she titled it For the Love of Men, I think was the title.
For the love of men.
Yeah, where it was like specifically about this. Like these poor guys don't get to enjoy like women stuff, you know, girl stuff, without having to worry about being like, you know, looking gay or being shamed for, you know, how come they can't like hold hands and skip? You know?
Yeah.
Everybody likes to skip. You know, most men won't do that because they think it'll make them look girly. How come throwing like a girl is a bad thing?
Yeah, I mean, toxic masculinity is a massive, major problem, and it's not going away anytime soon. It invades every facet of the male-female dynamic. And
I think that this belongs in the conversation when everybody's criticizing Pedro Pascal. Like, why can't he snuggle with a very close girlfriend?
Even if he was a heterosexual male?
Even if he was. Like, if those people determine that he's safe, if he has consent for all of the touching he's doing, like, is it weird for him to just be able to appreciate affection if he's just an affectionate person? Like, why are we all like so suspicious of that? Culturally, I feel like it's part of a bigger sickness. And I think people that know more about the feminism for men type movement have been seeing that for a long time. Men deserve to enjoy girl things because some girl things are awesome. Like, fill your house with flowers, bro. Like, it's really nice. We're not the only ones that get to enjoy that, you know? I'm
flicking around on Reddit right now because people are asking if he's gay on Reddit, and they don't know.
And they don't know. This is what I'm saying.
And it's like, but this is obviously like, I don't know what.
I really enjoy that it's been a non-issue. Like,
critical drinker.
He never would have been able to get away with this in the 90s. You know, like, I just love that we've elevated socially, you know, that it's not even an issue, that he could just like not even address it.
In IMDb, there's a He's one of the most beloved actors of recent times. He's one of those stars whose personal life is of absolute interest to the masses.
Mandy said, I tried to platonically cuddle a male friend once. You can guess what he tried.
Yeah.
I wish straight cis men and women could be on the same page, but my gay male friends, it is a snuggle fest.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and it makes sense. I mean, listen, it makes sense for sure. Like, if I was gonna, be able to like it's a part of the why we as cis men are so deprived, because we can't cuddle with each other.
I know.
And we can't cuddle with women without confusing it into something else.
I haven't read it, but I'm sure Liz Plank brings this up in her book. Like, it's so sad.
I mean, I live with it. I live with this. You know, I don't anymore because I have you. But, you know, as a single male, cuddling with women I'm attracted to is not. I don't know how to do that as a friend. I don't know how to do it. And that is definitely an indictment on me.
I can't remember who pointed this out, but somebody was saying that part of the reason why there's like incel culture and why people are so why men sometimes are so hostile during breakups is because they're literally their only proximity to any affection, like that the only way they can ever have physical touch is through a romantic relationship.
Yeah.
So if their partner wants to leave them, they don't mean that it doesn't just mean that they're going to experience a breakup of a partnership. Yeah. It means that they're going to be severed from this very basic human need, which is physical touch, because they literally cannot physically touch another person. Like, the only way that they ever feel personal, like a hug, is in an intimate relationship. Like, of course they're going to be so possessive of that.
That's where I get it.
Yeah.
For sure.
It's just so sad.
You know, look, it's just like I was raised by a trucker who was an orphan and who had his ass beat his whole life, and he continued that tradition with his own kids. And, you know, it's just how you get raised. And, you know, for me, the physical barrier between trying to be one or being one of those guys, I live with the fact that knowing that my only real intimacy will only ever be with a lover, because I don't know how to be that way. I don't.
You could just ask your bro for a hug.
No, it's like,
you know what I mean?
I hug my bros, bro. But I'm not talking about hugging. I'm talking about
I hug my bros, bro.
I'm talking about like cuddling in. I'm talking about like doing that. I'm talking about like
spoon me, bro.
Crying in their arms. I'm talking about like resting on their shoulder. I'm talking about like leaning on them. Dudes can't do that.
Well, you can. You can just break the cycle.
Yeah, try that. Fucking A. Well, listen, I don't have anyone to do that with, and even if I did, I'm incapable of it because I was raised by a trucker who was an orphan who beat his kids. You know, it's just the way it is. You know, and and that's some of the damage that I endured. You know, it's just that simple.
Cosmic Urgency said, "What if I end up marrying Pedro?"
We'll be brother-in-laws. No. If you end up marrying Pedro, maybe he's a lucky guy. You know, you seem like a really good dude. Pedro's wonderful, bro. If you could land Pedro, forget about the money. It's just the joy that you'll experience, because he's just a fucking sweetheart. Anyway, we've talked about that fucker guy for an hour.
You were talking about racism and how kids don't get it.
Yeah.
Mandy said, I worked in a school age 4 class.
Yeah. We
did an exercise about how we're all different, and not one child mentioned skin color. They all spoke about hair, height, clothes. Did you ever see that adorable story where the kids swapped clothes because they wanted to trick their parents and like pose as each other, but they completely forgot.
Isn't that a movie with Lindsay Lohan?
No, listen. It's a real story where a little white boy and a little black boy decided to trick their parents.
Oh, yeah, that's the best.
So they changed clothes and backpacks.
Yes,
and they went back home to their other parents, and they were like, I'm like, sneaky.
They're obviously not gonna know who I am.
Isn't that adorable? Because they didn't see color.
It makes me wonder if they lack basic skills, though.
I know. You're like, come on, kids.
It's like,
I know for sure their parents were like, that is adorable, and also, should I be worried?
Because that's really unsmart. It's like, it's cute. And look, it's true. I'm telling you, that Donahue episode changed my life. It really did. And it's not, look, I was going through this process of shedding my father and his father and their fathers trying to get this shit off me. This generational crap that like has to do with the idea that we're different.
I know. It doesn't help anybody.
It helps nobody, but you don't even know how deeply ingrained it actually is. Do you know what I mean? It's a part of why, for example, and this is why I think Taylor Sheridan is like one of the problems if he's going to put that kind of content in his show, and why I had umbrage with it the minute I saw it was because you don't. It's completely disrespectful to an entire culture, but it also like it just misinforms. He's like nobody's informed about what they're talking about, you know, when it comes to these major things.
It was such an awakening too about like our suspicions. Like we were going along with the show, the Taylor Sheridan, like the old Western, the show that he wrote, and then that happened, and I was like, wait a minute, like why would you have like a Native American kissing? That seems so strange.
Well, I immediately
and then it was like 2 episodes later that he wrote himself into the show, and he like these people are in the middle of nowhere, right? And he rides in on his horse, and he's like freshly showered, and he has no purpose for being there. Yeah. Don't you remember? He was like a character that had like no purpose whatsoever, and he looked completely out of place.
And he was all stoic and shit, but like,
and he like showed up as the leader.
He just showed up like he got out of the Four Seasons, like out of the bed of the Four Seasons. He was trying to be a dusty cowboy.
This guy's not serious.
Well, I knew because, and when it happened, I turned to you and I was like, I don't think they do that. And the reason I said I don't think is because it had been so many years. But when I was in Canada, they teach a lot of the indigenous ways to white students in school. Like we learn about
that's kind of amazing
culture.
So they're trying to make up for the re-education schools.
Well, and they're trying to fix the problem of the massive amount of horrible racism that was caused by the segregation and the putting them on the reserves. And
they're like, whoops, that 30-year experiment didn't work.
It didn't. It was it was beyond an experiment, right? That 30-year atrocity. 30 years too, it was like this centuries of atrocity on these people has to start becoming reversed. And one of the ways we can do that is by teaching people a little bit about their culture and knowing more about it, right? And understanding it, And anyway, it was through that I learned that, there was no lip locking, And I remembered that, but it was like I was putting it together instantly because as soon as she kissed him, I was like, what the fuck is that? Yeah. Like, I don't think that happens. Anyway, I just hate that because it's like knowing what you're writing is an important part of writing most of the time. Unless you're writing about the stuff, because then you just have to make it up.
Mandy said, I'm lighting a sage after this conversation.
Well, if you get maybe you could try to get onto a Baldoni set and they'll do it for you. They'll just cover you in sage.
Okay, so we can go to your topics now because I took up
that was one of my topics. Well, that was one of my topics. I'm so glad you did because that was like I was hoping that because Pedro is in Fantastic Four, and Fantastic Four is about to take off into the outer echelons of big box office success. It's going to do $1 billion, and Pedro's going to be $1 billion guy. And the idea that he's being smeared is really bothersome. And the reason he's being smeared is because he speaks out in favor of LGBTQ plus rights in Palestine, and he's outspoken against people who are anti-trans or transphobic or so on and so forth. So I love the guy. I hope he keeps winning, and I'll defend him to my bone. I have bones. I have more than one bone.
Alyssa said, I've been on my best behavior lately, but I have to break the streak. Where are y'all posting the depositions? I know I ask this every time, like it's tradition. By the depositions, I mean reading and explaining them and giving commentary. The Don's Plum depositions. They are my hyperfixations.
Yeah, I really do want to get into them.
They were my hyperfixations too. I spent like a year toiling over organizing all of the depositions. And I mean, like, they're just on paper, and so I typed them out, digitized them, and then I organized all of the topics so that I could have everybody telling the same story on the same document. It was a lot of work, and so I kind of burnt out on that, and I put it away for a little while. But I'm really eager to pick it back up because I did a lot of really great organizing, and I think it's perfect for what I would like to do. Is sort of like introduce them and then have you commentate. Do you think that would be interesting, or should we do that another way?
We'll figure it out. It's too hard to decide now because there's just so much involved in. But like we'll figure it out. It's the thing about the depositions is
you keep saying that, Alyssa, and then we don't.
Well, here's the thing about it is like I'm not going to do any like. My focus is on the book right now.
Yeah.
And I haven't found a way to get the book sales. Like I want Leo to sue me, and the only way he's going to do that is if I sell a lot of books. I think if I sell a lot of books, he's going to come for me.
Why do you want Leo to sue you?
So that I can get after him.
Oh.
Yeah.
In a countersuit.
Yeah. Let him, and also because I want to prove that all he's out to do is shut me down. Now, if he doesn't shut me down and I make a lot of money, then that's the upside. So what I'm saying is
it's
like,
win-win.
If it fails, if my theory is wrong and I don't get sued, I got a little bit of money and I don't feel like I got to sweat my rent every month. If I'm correct, then he'll sue me and we'll get discovery and this channel will open up into a big giant, Yeah, Mandy. Thank you so much. Mandy's like, fight, Dale. We're behind you. I do. I want to fight for this movie. And, so we'll see what happens. I got to focus on selling the book, though. And then after that, the other thing is like, I don't want to provoke him. So the thing about this, here's something I haven't shared with you, Alyssa. The depositions are under a protective order, technically speaking. It's a really weak protective order. It's also a 30-year-old protective order. So good luck with that. But
also the protective order, the lawyers said that it was specifically because he was talking. They were talking about locations, and then he would have to give an address. But some of the events took place at his own house. So he was giving his own address that at the time his mother still lived in. Yeah. And so the protective order was about his own personal
correct
residence. And she doesn't live there anymore, and he doesn't live there anymore. And so I feel like that means that it doesn't matter.
Well, yes, of course, doxing was a big reason for the protective order. Also, protective order is not just for it wasn't just for doxing. So it just wasn't about his address. So
that was the only thing that the attorney specified. What else was it for?
That's how they get a quick. Well, so anyway.
Like Blake Lively's protective order was
just to give you an example of what I'm talking about is when I tried to get the fucking depositions and the fucking company said they wouldn't give them to me because they're under a protective order. So they're under a protective order and it doesn't matter why they're under a protective order, they're still under a protective order. And until the protective order is officially lifted, they're technically under a protective order, even if it was only for, doxing purposes. So, but I can tell you right now that it wasn't only for that. It was also for things being revealed, including names and circumstances that wouldn't otherwise be, flattering. Like, for example, if Emily Foster came up. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if Emily Foster came up, they want that under a protective order. They don't want that out.
That's true.
Well, yeah, we had the conversations also, like while the protective order was coming into play. Yeah, we had those conversations. So, anywho, ladies and gents, what else is on my agenda? I do have some saved things too, but I don't want to get to those just yet.
Mandy wants to know if I read the book recommendation. Mandy, I got the book, but I have not read it yet.
Which one?
I Who Have Never Known Men.
I want to read that too.
I have the book. It is ready to read. I started the first page and then right before bed, and it was too late. I got too sleepy, so I've technically started it, but I haven't started it really.
One of the things on my
I'm eager to.
One of the things on the thumbnail is that Trey Parker and Matt Stone are billionaires, and it's just so disappointing.
Why?
Because we just don't need that.
No, we don't need billionaires. No, that's true.
We don't need fucking billionaires, and we also don't need the idea that like I know we're going to talk about it, but the reason I want to talk about it is because I think billionaires need to stop. And I'm not trying to get into this big liberal blah 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 bullshit left thing. It's absurd. This money is absurd. Fucking LeBron James is building a mall-sized house.
Eventually he's going to be finished with that, and you won't be able to gripe about it anymore.
Well, it's still going to be, and then I'll say he's living in one. Who needs to live in a fucking mall-sized house? Absolutely fucking nobody. But he has nothing better to do with his money, so he's going to build a multi-$100-million house. Like, it's just so out of control when that guy gets in his fucking car and drives past poverty. Do you know what I mean? Like, how many homes, and by the way, this isn't, I'm not being reasonable here. How many homes has LeBron James bought? And he might have bought. I don't know if there's an answer to this question. How many? Let's just see. How many houses has LeBron James?
Why are you picking on him specifically?
James purchased for donated.
Our corporate overlords love that you're picking on him and not them. Why don't you ask about the Waltons?
He has a foundation that provides housing for families in Akron, Ohio, on a donated basis.
Oh, so he bought those houses?
Yes.
See, Dale?
Well, I don't know if he did. It's not the same. Like if you look at Warwick Dunn. I like to use him as an example. Warwick Dunn, who never made anywhere close to LeBron James money and did not build a fucking shopping mall to live in. He actually took all of his $200 million fortune that he made being a star athlete in Tampa Bay, and he built homes for single mothers. And he spent all of his money doing it. And when asked about it, he was like, well, I was raised by a single mother. He's like, they're out there, they're struggling, they're hurting, it's really hard for them. I'm going to give them homes. I have all this money. What am I going to do with it?
Yeah, that's really
and you got these fuckers like LeBron James or fucking, every other billionaire. And now Matt Stone and Trey Parker. And it's like, all I'm saying is like, can't we just keep a score? Can't we just be like, hey, you're a billionaire, and then take all the fucking money that they're hoarding that they're not going to use until they're fucking 90, and they're like, oh, I'm going to do the right thing. I'm going to give it all away.
Why are you shouting?
It's so fucking irritating because the money could be used today. Instead of LeBron James using it to buy to build himself a shopping mall, he could be, that money could be used to get some of the fucking homeless people. And if you haven't lived in Los Angeles or you haven't visited there, you'll know why it's a fucking...
Is that where he's building his shopping mall house?
Yeah, in Bel Air. Fucker.
I'm sure the neighbors love it.
Build a mansion. Have a mansion.
I know. Can you imagine living in Bel Air and having...
a fucking shopping mall.
Construction zone next to your...
You should see it.
house.
It's got cranes.
Yeah.
It's fucking madness, man.
Did you hear what... apparently Kanye West bought a house on the beach in Malibu.
Yeah.
And then completely destroyed it, like on purpose.
Oh, really?
He stripped it all the way down to the concrete and then just left it.
And then left it?
Like he didn't want any windows. He didn't want any doors. He didn't want a toilet in the house. He didn't want anything.
What's it for then?
That's what he wanted to do with it.
He just wants to have a place to...
Somebody flew a drone and they wrote an article about it and they used the drone
Is
footage.
it like, is he...
And there's like a bare mattress in one of the rooms. And then that's it. It's just concrete.
Who is this?
Kanye West.
Kanye West. Well,
because he is lost it.
Yeah, the guy is just...
But apparently it was
in
one
an
of these
unfortunate
like,
state.
those
mind.
like famous architects that have like their model houses, That was one of I can't remember the architect's name, but apparently it was like a really, really significant house, and he bought it specifically to just take it down to the studs, but concrete pillars. So weird.
And this is what I'm talking about, like these enormous wastes. Do you know what I mean? It's just waste. I don't give a fuck what he does.
But
with
imagine
his money,
having a house like on the beach in Malibu.
Yeah, and destroying
and
it.
Kanye West buys the house next to you, and you're like, ugh, Lord, there's going to be parties. Like, that's going to be lame.
Yeah.
But instead, it's like constant construction, disassembling the house next to you.
Deconstructing the house.
The guy.
Well, it shows you what I'm talking about. Like, this is a guy with too much money. Like, he's doing it because he can. Do you know? Who would do that? Who would just take apart a house? I mean, he didn't buy the house in Malibu for people to live in. For
I don't know why he still has so much money. He hasn't really put out a whole lot of music.
Because money makes money, man. Because money is
he's like investing or something?
Yeah, of course. It doesn't sit like this is the part of being broke that we can't understand what happens. As soon as they make all that money, it goes into these things. It goes into the Bitcoins and all the other opportunities, and it just turns into more money. He has real estate. Johnny Depp had like fucking $200 million worth of real estate.
Cosmic Urgency said, okay, but billionaires exist, Dale. Are they supposed to turn down the money? If billionaires are gonna exist, the South Park dudes are who I want to be billionaires.
Okay. I mean, look, I said I think you should get your little trophy or whatever you get.
Yeah.
You get a little fucking billionaire badge. You get a little ribbon. Maybe you get, how you get like...
Congratulations, you won capitalism.
YouTube, you get your little fucking YouTube trophy that you got 100,000 subs, your $1 million sub, your million subs. You get your little fucking, Then give him a fucking trophy. Give him a little fucking trophy, and like that's got like a like Benjamin Franklin in it or some shit, and and tell him congratulations, you are a billionaire. We've confiscated this money and we're going to use it responsibly to actually pay for things that are important instead of your fucking stupid mansions in Bel Air.
Yeah, but don't worry, your name will be on the school.
But your name will going to be on the school, and everyone knows because we're going to put it in the paper. Hey, everyone, look, he's a billionaire. I'm a billionaire. I could do it. I did it. Like, what is it? It's fucking stupid. It's like I'm a manager. Like, because a billionaire doesn't actually mean anything. It doesn't really do anything. You know what I mean? Half these guys don't even actually have the money that makes them the billionaire anyway. They're borrowing from it in order to evade taxes. And the rest of it is stuck in these like so-called holdings, which is actually another word for hoardings. Do you know what I mean? Instead of actually just fucking liquidating the thing and putting some fucking houses up in LA so that people can live in them, instead of living on the fucking street and being spat on by a bunch of rich white people. I'm a little fucking ornery.
Are you too ornery to talk about how
sorry guys if I'm
Andy Signor was named by the publicists as being a contact of theirs?
Dude, Andy Signor filmed himself in a fucking graphic t-shirt making faces in a mirror while masturbating, and he sent it to somebody.
Dale.
I'm sorry, what were you saying about him?
That's really gruesome.
Yeah. I'm just saying it's out there. It's on the internet. I saw it.
You should think about what you speak a little bit. I was saying...
That's the first thing I think of when I think about him.
Yeah, he's weird. I was saying that today we learned that he's named in one of the publicist's list of names of their contacts.
Yeah, let's get to the Blake Lively stuff so the algorithm will actually recognize that we're here. Yeah, true. He is named in Tag. What I find particularly interesting is I thought that Tag had already made a statement that they did not work with any content creators and had only worked. Did they not make that statement to the court? Didn't they say to the court that they worked with no content creators, but provided a robust list of actual press that they worked with?
I guess both could be true. It doesn't seem as if it is true, but it could be true that they compiled a list and then didn't do anything with it. But they compiled a list, and then Signor's been saying on his show that he's getting exclusive information directly from
Brian Freeman.
Yeah, from Justin Baldoni's legal team. So.
Yeah, I mean, he openly advertised that he's been in direct contact with them and that he's shilling for them. What's interesting about it is because he just reiterated their narrative about the slow dance.
Oh, that was an old video. Yeah, that was when it dropped.
But it doesn't matter. I'm saying that he received this propaganda and then he propagandized it with their messaging. He didn't take it on as somebody from the press and said, Friedman released this press. I got it. I looked at it. It's this, that, whatever. Instead, it's, Well,
the only thing I have to offer about the Baldoni trial is just this. Everybody's sort of like putting together the timeline of the smear campaign.
Yeah.
And I think it's really interesting that it all lines up.
Yeah, let's hear it. You have the actual, right? Like isn't there like you read something to me that was really well articulated, like really succinct.
So on Blake Lively's amended complaint, right?
Yeah.
She has dates that say that like August 7th, 2024, Miss Abel and Miss Nathan viewed and referred to their shared work on behalf of Mr. Baldoni and Wayfair as a social combat plan. And then they have this text exchange where Jennifer Abel says, I think we really need to put the social combat plan into motion. And Melissa Nathan said, so do I. And that is on August 7th. The next item on Blake Lively's timeline here. On Information and Belief, Tag engaged Mr. Jed Wallace around this time in early August 2024 to design and implement their social combat plan. It was supposed to be untraceable, but here we are looking at the traces. So that was the beginning of August. August 7th, they do that text exchange. They hire Wallace. August 10th is when Kirsty Flaw puts out her video that says the Blake Lively interview that made me want to quit my job.
Before that.
And right before that, on August 9th.
Yeah.
Somebody noticed that there's a snark subreddit We were talking about this snark subreddits or just like very targeted like hate subreddits like yours. That's where you go when you want to talk shit about this one specific topic or this specific person. And they're really like horrible bullying places. Like there was recently a woman who unalived herself because as a result of the bullying that came from one of these snark subreddits. Yeah. So they're trying to end them. Anyway, this is our Blake Lively snark was created on none other than August 9th, 2024.
August 9th, so 2 days. 2 days after they engaged.
Welcome to the Blake Lively snark, following and scrutinizing the now infamous Hollywood couple since day one. So they started out, at least, maybe they edited that, but they're going after Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, I guess. And 9.1 thousand people on that Blake Lively snark subreddit.
Yeah, but it's also a place where like the Baldoni files, people will go and they'll subscribe in order to source and then feed their own channels.
So it's just becoming so clear. I mean, you can't deny that those dates really line up, and I'm not sure how organic
I think
that
it's I think it's as plain as day. Like the you know when they engaged in a smear campaign strategy, smearing began.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who's in it because it traces back. Hey, come on. We're not fucking stupid. You turn on the water comes out of the tap. We can see it. Do you know what I mean? It's like people didn't start hating Blake Lively on August fucking 1st. They did it on August 9th.
Yeah. What's super interesting is that I was like, oh, well, I wonder what Baldoni's timeline says about that. And it's so amazing because if you go to his timeline, this stupid website, timeline of relevant dates, here we have he has an entry for July 19th. Sorry. July 19th, and it skips all the way to August 25th. Baldoni's side has nothing to say
about
for more than a month. July 19th, 2023 is an entry, and then August 25th, 2023. So they're not saying anything about all of the work that the publicists were doing that is dated on Blake Lively's lawsuit. That's a big omission.
What the heck?
Interesting.
What the heck?
It's pretty blatant. They're like, oh, we just did absolutely nothing on those during that time.
Pretty wild.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty goddamn wild, I'd say. Well, look, I mean, we've been saying it from the beginning, and that particular timeline was easy to put together very early because we knew that Kirsty Flaw, whatever. I hate her, and so her name just, and I don't truly hate her because Kirsty Flaw, yeah, Kirsty Flaw, who's a decrepit soul, a soulless soul.
Okay, what about her?
She's an awful person. She, we know that she began her campaign against Blake Lively, and what's disgusting about hers is that it came up. There's only two things that this and why she's so foul to me. She's like a Bijou Phillips of the 90s for me. There's only two possibilities for this woman. Either she was working in concert with Baldoni's publicists and began smearing her with this, or she chose a moment where she knew Blake Lively was going to be in the spotlight and then rehashed this thing that was 6 years old.
Yes.
To try and disparage defame her.
That is the only other alternative. She's like, okay, so there's this really highly anticipated domestic violence movie.
Exactly.
And I'm going to make sure that I do my part to make it bad or weird and do an attack on Blake Lively, who is the star of it.
And she's a giant piece of shit.
Like, so what's the good explanation for why she did that?
So she's either attacking Blake Lively per this, directive, or she is attacking not just Blake Lively, but she's trying to use this opportunity to try and hurt Blake Lively and ultimately hurt the release of this movie, which belongs to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Which belongs to a lot of people. I believe it's the former. Yeah. I believe that she was engaged by
here's the thing.
Wallace and she did Wallace's deeds.
I believe that too. And because it seems really strange for her as she is a professional celebrity interviewer. You know, like she gets hired, she gets placed by the studios to do these promotional interviews.
Yes.
Okay. Film releases. That's how she has that Blake Lively interview for a Woody Allen movie.
Yes.
Why would she take the risk of interfering with the press of a new release if she wants to keep that job? You know what I mean? She must be being paid by it.
That's right. I don't believe she's in this country, is she? I don't think she lives here any longer, does she? I think she's in Europe.
I don't know.
I thought she was living in Spain or somewhere thereabouts.
I know that she used to work for studios, you know.
Yeah, I think she's just hot garbage. I don't think people liked her. I don't think that it was just Blake Lively and Parker Posey. I think there were I think she had a bit of a reputation, maybe, with some publicists at least. Mm-hmm. And when you watch that interview, as uncomfortable as that interview is, there's nothing there that constitutes like the kind of retaliation that you bring back 6 years later. Do you know what I mean?
It isn't that bad. What do you mean it's going to make you quit your job?
6, yeah. I watched the whole interview 6 years later. The one she put out saying this is the interview that
I had worse days working retail. Like, what is your problem?
For sure, bro. I watched you have way worse days slinging coffee at the Bourgeois Pig than her stupid interview with a movie star that got on her nerves. And it was such a troubling thing for her that she needed to rehash it. You need to rehash it 6 years later? Come on, people.
Well, we have a half hour left. Do you want to go over some more things that you wanted to talk about today?
Play some Monopoly if you want. I have some things, yeah. You want me to go over some of those things? Let me see. Let me get my stuff together. Let me get my saved stuff. I got some saved stuff here. I would save some stuff for you guys for the later part of the live. Let's see what I got. Did I tell you that Trey Parker's a billionaire now?
Yeah, we talked about it.
He can buy anything he wants for anybody he wants. I bet he keeps the money. I bet he doesn't know what to do with it like every other fucking billionaire. I bet you he puts all that money in the bank and he's like, oh, I got all this money. I don't know what to do with it. So I'll just eat really well. I know what I'll do. I'll hire people. That makes me a good person because I'll pay their Social Security and everything. Hi, guys. Come in. Work for me. Okay, I'm a billionaire. Do you know who Harvey Fierstein is? You do. You're going to leave?
No.
You're walking out?
Harvey Fierstein.
Yeah, you know who he is.
Yep.
He is he's an actor and a playwright. And he was most famous for his role in, which movie was that?
Mrs. Doubtfire.
Mrs. Doubtfire. He was the makeup artist, right?
I think so. He was just a...
He was that really
character actor guy.
Like really flamey kind of effeminate.
Flamey.
Is there something wrong with that? Can we?
I don't know.
I love him. He's wonderful. Anyway, he's come out to say. So, by the way, I'm just going to preface this with: if you are a heterosexual and you are friends with Harvey Fierstein, you got told your place here. He this is a quote by him. There are so few heterosexual men that I know that I look up to. So if you were a heterosexual man and you knew Mr. Fierstein, you are either immediately going, well, I'm one. I'm clearly one.
Well, you know, what that obviously says to me is that he felt very comfortable in an interview, and they took the most, harsh sounding thing that he said and put it as a headline, and it's still pretty tame. You know what I mean?
Very.
Like, I want to read the rest of the interview because he seems like he had a really nice time talking to that interviewer.
Yes, I think you're probably...
But you can rest assured that the headline that you see about an interview is taken out of context, and it's intentionally, like, clickbaity, like, meant to make people upset. That's always the way it is. This is one reason why when you give an interview, you have to be very careful about what you say, because they will just like extract, like surgical extraction, the worst thing you said, and then that'll be the headline. That's what they do.
Something that's really bothering me. Yeah, I know. I try to avoid. I mean,
it's hard.
It is. I called up Stephen Greenstreet after I did the New York Post interview, and I said, "Dude, don't put the Leonardo, don't shoot your load, bro."
He was like, "Screw you, it's mine."
He refused, man. He said, "It's gold. It's going in," and I'm like, "It's not gold. It's garbage. Don't put it in." Yeah. And it's in there now. It is what it is. And it does suck. something that's really bothering me is that people are getting really clickbaity with Brian Koberger. And look, the first thing that bothers me...
I can't believe... Oh, whoops. I didn't even see this happened. Are you going to share the thing that psychiatrist said? The psychologist?
So, yeah, I mean, a couple things. First of all, the FBI report, I guess, or whatever is coming out, and people are learning some of the gory details. And this is really bothering me. And I know that also the Galsavis father, is it? He's doing interviews, and he's saying some really, like, he's revealing some very horrid detail in what happened to his daughter. And this is kind of the stuff that I thought, like, I wished we could have avoided. Like, it's just so fucking gross. It's so morbid.
Yeah, it was what everybody could have avoided with Koberger taking a plea. It was a good thing, and now everybody's still talking about it.
Well, it's getting worse because not only people still talking about it, and you have this, and look, this guy gets to grieve however he wants. So I'm not in any way suggesting he doesn't do what he's doing. Do it. If this is what's going to make you heal, if this is going to bring you towards some path of completing this process, or not completing, you'll never complete this process, but getting you through the hardest part of it, then go fucking do it, you know? And if I got to endure that as the guy who is just fucking sitting around having to like cringe as these things cross my feed, so be it. I'm down with it. It's cool. But where I get really upset about it, where it starts to cross the line, is when people are exploiting the information coming out. And so, for example, there was a headline by a former FBI agent who this is TMZ's garbage reporting, by the way.
TMZ really screwed up here. This is really, really irresponsible, and I was shocked when I saw it.
I don't know if I can find the article, but
so the way that it's framed, she's profiling Koberger, and she's making assumptions about maybe what he thought or what his motives were for, you know, various parts of his crime. But they're quoted in the headline as if he said it himself, like as if it's a direct quote from him. And I was like, oh, he's speaking like he's given a prison interview. Like, that's news. He didn't. He hasn't spoken. No, she's literally making it up.
Yeah, so
it's a fantasy in her head, and they're quoting her as if he's saying it. So irresponsible. I cannot believe it.
And since I've had my most of my sound set up, I've been able to read some of the articles that I'm actually pinning. And so I actually read the article. And exactly, the article reveals that it was all in their fucking head as a theory.
A theory.
And they put it in the headline
as if it was a quote.
And it was, and it's like a major like revelation. It's like also a huge revelation.
If any of the family members see that, it's going to be so harmful.
Like, because it was. Did you say what it was?
I didn't say what it was.
I'm not going
I don't want to say what.
No, I'm not going to. I'm not going to say what it was because it was so fucking egregious. But the headline would be so damaging as a family member to read, right. Especially because there's no confirmation of this. It's theoretical on this FBI agent's idea, former FBI agent's mind or whatever, and it's absolutely fucking trash. So this is the problem that you know we fucking live with in this bloody country, is that you know you can't just leave it alone. You can't just fuck off and leave it alone. You can't let this guy grieve and just accept the fact that we're a part of his grieving process. I'm cool with that. I'll be a part of that.
It's also like, what does former FBI agent even mean? We're so eager to assign authority to people, but like, does that mean that they worked in like the accounting department or something?
It means run for fucking Senate.
Like, are they an FBI agent who like, you know, like ran human resources or something? Like, I don't understand. I don't understand how somebody who actually could be credible enough to get that interview from would be so relaxed with their language that they would allow a quote like that to come out. It just seems really strange. So I don't know. It's
entirely troublesome. And I just wanted to share it with you guys because like, be aware that there are going to be these fucking headlines out there potentially about this and others.
I can't believe TMZ printed
who
that too.
are
It's really,
who are
really
putting that. Yeah, I gotta tell you, like TMZ is like obviously like there's a level of trash that comes with TMZ, but like I've mostly found that I get decent stuff out of them in terms of like what's going on.
A lot of it isn't really consequential. They're just like reporting on celebrity drama and stuff, but this is like actually really really severe allegations, you know.
So crazy. So this next thing is something that I think is potentially their publicists preparing the way.
Who's they?
This headline is also on TMZ, so it could be just trash, but Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, no, that's not an engagement pic. That's just his Super Bowl rings. But something that they do in the world of publicity.
Is they seed
the ideas.
Yeah.
They put the ideas out there
and they repeat it a few times.
They give people they prepare the way so that the announcement comes as something that is has some footing to it.
So it's not like the Band-Aid isn't being just like torn off, right? It's like you ease into it. You ease into the news. We're just giving you a little taste.
And we don't know if this is just TMZ grabbing trash and trying to get Taylor Swift in their headlines so that they can get a feed on it. It was their top story for about a minute, but just probably to see if it would grab on. But maybe they're seeding the way. Maybe the announcement is nigh. You know.
Maybe. Are you going to be excited?
Oh, for them, for sure.
Are you going to save the date?
No. I'm very excited for them. They look really fucking happy in those pictures. Like, I don't think I've ever looked that happy in a picture as these two fuckers in a picture. Like, wow. And I know they have really good lives. Also, I saw a picture of Travis with his shirt off. He was getting glazed with honey on his chest or something.
Did he look super, super rich?
No, he looked super.
That's all I ever see.
Very hairy chest.
Every time I see these people, that's all I see. I'm like,
lots
wow,
of hair
boy,
on his
you guys
chest.
look really rich.
He has a tremendous amount of hair in his chest, and he is not as like I expected him to be ripped. And he's like it's off season.
Yeah.
You know, so he's like definitely like got some fucking poutine fat on there.
Yeah.
But I mean he's a hot dude. He can't be denied. But you're so used to like seeing everybody with fucking their six packs and their ripped pecs, especially like professional athletes. But he was kind of a bit of a softie.
Mandy says, imagine the wedding guest list.
Well, I mean, I'm impossible.
I know who's not invited.
Scoots.
Scoots
isn't going. No Scoots for you.
Scoots doesn't have to save the date.
Sorry, Scoots. Be interesting if Blake Lively will be there, right? She'll be there.
Scoots. Did we ever look up his real name?
It's Scoots. He was born Scooter Braun.
No, he wasn't.
He was born Scooter Braun.
No, he wasn't.
He was not only born Scooter Braun, but he was born with a scooter tattoo on the inside of his
and that's why they named him that. They're like, it looks just like a scooter.
Yeah, it looks like a scooter, so his name must be Scooter.
All right, his name is Scott Samuel,
and he goes by Scooter. Let me tell you, like, I know this guy is immensely successful. Your name is Scott. Like, Scott isn't a great name, I guess. I don't know. It's not like it's a fine name. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with Scott.
Scooter isn't a great name.
Scooter is the name of a dog. Yeah. Scooter is the name of the dog. And somebody said that because everybody knows that Scooter is the name of a dog. And there was like somebody in the comments like, I'm literally petting Scooter right now. As I read this, I'm petting my own Scooter as we speak.
Scott Braun. He could have gone by Samuel Braun.
Sammy.
He could have
fucking Scooter.
He could have, used his initials and sounded like a warship. SS Braun.
I'm just surprised he's successful because this is a flaw in my character, but I could just never take him seriously. Like if he came up and was like, "Hey man, my name's Scooter," I'd be like, "That's the end of our business arrangement."
I know, he'd introduce himself and he'd be like,
I have to work with somebody who's not named Scooter. It's like in my rider. You can't have the name Scooter.
Can you imagine if you introduced yourself to somebody and they just like had to like stifle their laughter real quick? That would be so damaging.
I read an article with Bam.
Bam Margera?
Yeah. He in it he said that the damage is done between him and the other jackassers. He said he'll never ever work with them again. He got fired for a breach of contract on the last one, and so he makes brief appearances in it. But he was fired for using during production.
So here's, oh man, it's so sad. So their addiction recovery is such a predatory industry.
Yeah.
It is so predatory.
Yeah.
And so all that a person who is struggling with this disease ever has to do is endure like getting into one of these wrong places where they know they're being preyed on.
Yeah.
And then they don't trust anybody, any addiction recovery counselors to ever treat them well. It's really a huge shame that nobody vetted where he was going and they didn't use actual like medical professionals and instead used these like con artists that convinced them that they had this like new way that nobody else was doing and like took all their money and ended up abusing these guys. He got involved in like the Florida Shuffle, right? Isn't that what they call it?
I think so.
where you just basically get like work farmed and then punished, and then your punishment is more work.
Yeah.
And so they're like basically in the like being human trafficked, you know, and they can't get out because they're mandated to be in these because of some like legal trouble.
It's fucked up.
It's fucked up. So yeah, if I ended up in that situation, I would distrust all of my loved ones that put me in that place too. And it's just like, you can't blame them. It's just a real shame that nobody ever looked out for where they were sending him.
I feel nothing but pain and empathy for him. You know, what he's going through is, you know, I mean, there's a certain amount of it that is his responsibility and that can't be avoided. But there's a point at which there's a line that crosses from irresponsibility to a loss of complete control, and where intervention and help is your only remedy.
Right, I know, but
like the field is just as you mentioned, it's just
they ruined his trust, right? So where could they possibly take him where he trusts that he's not going to get stuck in the same situation?
He's the kind of, you know, people tell me like get over it, and all this other shit with my thing, and he's the kind of thing that I like where I wish he could find sort of peace between what he went through and what he created for himself, and then the way that people reacted. There's something that like, I came out of a depression losing all of my friends. Mm-hmm. I lost them all. They're all gone. And I resent them for it on a daily basis. On a daily basis, I have to go through these dialogues with all of my friends who I very wrongfully expected to save me.
Yeah, maybe you have more healing to do.
You know? Well, on that front, I do, because there's So my point about Bam is that I mentioned that only to mention that I can relate very deeply to how he's sitting there ruminating and feeling that this betrayal, where he's like, I was
massive betrayal.
You don't punish me, you help me.
Yeah, like you human trafficked me. Like, you're never going to trust those people to take you anywhere ever again. You know?
Well, I'm also just like I'm talking about the jackass guys. Like, it's just like, you fired me. You didn't help me. You hurt me. That's the kind of shit that helps me use or brings me the desire to use. You didn't, and that's why, like, as you also, know, part of the I was moved by the damage has been done.
Right. Part of the disease of addiction is like they will do behaviors that isolate them so that they can continue to use without interference. So it's like, if you really want to help somebody, you have to endure that. You have to learn how to be compassionate enough to forgive those isolating behaviors. Like, they'll be awful. You'll want them out of your life. Like, they will do horrible things, but you can't save them unless you're involved.
And they'll leave lasting damage.
Yeah,
they'll leave lasting damage.
It sucks.
But that's not how you help solve his problem.
But that's part of the disease, yeah.
Even if that comes along with, the difficulty of knowing that you have this now, very altered and changed relationship. Look, he is going to be changed because he has gone through this massive amount of pain and addiction just changes you. It alters your entire life forever. You're either an addict or you're a recovering addict, and both of those are different from perhaps the person that you fell in love with, or the person that you grew up with, or the person that was your brother's son.
I found it really helpful. I read a book by Gabor Mate called In the Realm of Hungry Ghosts. And that perspective, it's just like, he makes this analogy that if you think about the person who's struggling with addiction as if they're possessed by a hungry ghost, right? Like, it's just like it's almost like,
I love it. I think
it's like a demon
brilliant.
Possession, like the way that they're acting, that's not them, that's the ghost.
Yeah.
Like, you have to help them exorcise the ghost. And it's kind of like that much of a hard process if you think about like all the way that media portrays exorcisms, like, obviously you don't have to put them through torture or whatever, but sometimes that's what it feels like for them. But he has a really, the book isn't just about a mindset shift, but that was the part of it that really did change my mindset about my addicted loved one. It's like, you're looking at somebody who is in the throes of a brain disease.
Yeah.
So the way that they're acting isn't them acting. These aren't choices that they're making.
And if you want to argue with disease, call it a disorder. It doesn't matter, because in the end, it's the same thing. Something is broken. Something has caused something to be broken. And if that's because you've pushed it to a limit that exceeds your ability to, assert self-control.
Right. And like, the whole time you're like, this person's being unreasonable. You could just be like, the ghost that possesses them is being unreasonable. And it makes you realize like, oh, okay, that's what I'm dealing with.
I've encountered that on the internet in like various ways through like, like little like gifs and stuff about people who are dealing with things like addiction, or even, interestingly enough, dementia, where there's like a certain amount of understanding and compassion to the situation. And it's interesting if you think about it from like a dementia standpoint, because whenever I've seen very touching, very heartwarming and beautiful videos where people are, and there's one actually out now with Bruce Willis, people who are, have dementia, and the compassionate way in which their loved ones deal with the fact that maybe they're not known, or maybe there's fear, maybe there's anger. And I've seen just various flavors of the way in which dementia can come back and be really haunting and horrible, and yet still have the person who is grounded in understanding to be able to not only endure it, but to really be there for them through it. And this is a part of what I think, BAM and other addicts miss out on, or even and again, I related to it so much with depression, because my depression wasn't me isolating you fuckers. I was withdrawing because I was getting out of town, dude. I was splitting, bro. I was hitting the ether.
I know. Also, it's like they purposefully do behaviors that isolate themselves, because then they're no longer being challenged to get sober or to, engage in recovery.
That's a great point.
So it's like, of course, they're going to try and push you away. It's just, you have to kind of not let them. Like, it's just really difficult dance.
Exactly.
I hope that nobody ever has to go through that alone. Like, people really do deserve support. And it's such a bummer that in our country, AA and NA is still the only choice a lot of people even know about. Like, we've progressed so much.
It's the most economical choice.
But it's not a choice. It's like, it doesn't really do anything. They really inflate their success numbers because they're talking about the people that stay in the program, but the vast majority of people don't. So
Tobey Maguire would argue with you on that, or he, at least the 90s version I knew, would argue that it's not effective. He called it the most effective thing he ever encountered.
There's medically supported, medically proven methods that are more effective, and I think that you gotta make sure that your loved one doesn't get in the situation that Bam Margera did, where they're just getting used for fucking government kickback or whatever, and getting human trafficked, right? Like, use a doctor. Like, there's, like, I know for alcoholism, there's the Sinclair method, where you actually go to a clinic and, you do your rehab there under medical supervision. It's like, I don't know why this guy with all of his resources and access didn't have better options.
This is a part of the failure of the people around him. This is, because that's where the support has to come into play. And like, for example, instead of firing him, you leverage. You go, you're going to go to rehab. You're going to get rehabbed, or you're going to get fired. We'll pay for it.
Right.
Done. It's a wrap.
Well, I mean, he's trying to isolate himself, so maybe he'd be like, screw you. Maybe they did do that.
But at least it's not firing him, right? Well, I don't think they did. I think he had a rider that said if he uses, they could fire him for using. He was to stay straight. Right. I don't know. I can't.
I'm sure the production company had to say, like, all of that.
Yeah, it has to do with insurance and things like that. Right. But anyway, and look, maybe they did, and if they did, then my respect. But if they didn't, then I wish they had. I wish they had created alternatives. All I'm saying is that I watched that documentary on BAM, and I saw a guy abandoned more than anything else. I saw a guy who did not have the support that he needed, and where I thought you could see it, at least as it was edited for me.
Yeah, like the last resort,
the reason for support.
The last resort for him was this, like, this con artist guru that he was supposed to follow around, who, like, obviously was taking advantage of him.
Yeah.
Like, really, that's the only option that guy like that has.
Yeah, like Brian Wilson had when he had that.
Yes, like Brian Wilson.
Insert with that. What do you call it? So moving on, though, I just wish him the best. It was a difficult. I'm kind of following him, and I will follow him to whatever end. Always rooting for him to not only get over it, but to find his way to healing and to understanding more about what he feels is a betrayal versus what might be, maybe something less. Maybe it's because I also recognize that my friends who I feel like weren't there for me and where I feel like a sense of betrayal, I also understand my absence and how that must have felt or been perceived. But it would have been really cool if somebody was like, I'm afraid you're in a bad place. Literally not one person said that.
I know.
Yet, and we're talking like multi-decade relationships. And I think that this is the kind of stuff that helps propel addiction, helps propel depression and other disorders that might be mitigated, at least, if not potentially cured, but at least mitigated just by applying some love, bro. Just like seeing, open your eyes and seeing, not being the victim, but being present instead. Because everybody's a fucking victim of the person next to them, as opposed to understanding the situation.
It's because it's safer. You don't have to do as much work if you're the one being wronged, right? But if everything is neutral and it's just a misunderstanding, that takes more work, Do
you want to take any questions, or do you want to take any comments now, or do you want to move on to my next thing? Because my next thing's pretty dope. Well, it's kind of dope. I don't know. It's pretty dope. It's personal. Whatever. Fuck. Just let me know.
Guilty Angel said this chat is fun. Houston is so humid and it flash rains. My sister and I were checking out and it started pouring.
Wow.
Mandy said the UK is humid, a phrase rarely said. I have noticed. I was so cold. I thought I might pass away.
In London?
In the UK in the winter because of the humidity. Humid cold is so much colder.
Oh, for sure.
I was not prepared.
To the bones it goes.
Yeah, it's unreal.
No, I mean, I lived in Vancouver, which is really Canada's London, and for sure, man, that stuff is cold. Like when it's like 40s, 30s, or in Celsius, when you're sitting hovering around zero or just below zero. Like when you get below 0 Celsius, when you're like -5 even, so I used to live in Winnipeg where -20, -30 was common in the winter. And I would look and we'd get the Weather Channel and it would show all the different temperatures around the country. And there's Vancouver sitting at like a balmy -5. And this is Celsius, folks. And I was like, I would long for it. I was like, oh my God, if I could just live in -5 instead of -20. Well, I moved to -5 when I became an adult, and it was as cold because that shit was wet and it went right to my bones, man. It was wild.
Mandy said, I listened to a podcast interviewing a celebrity rehab doctor. The stories, wow. These A-listers check in and they refuse all help. It takes the doctor days to even get them to speak to them.
Yeah.
They must be giant pains in the asses.
They must be. And the other thing is,
stuck there.
And they're also walking in with all this immense amount of, privilege.
Yeah.
And everybody yesing them everywhere they go for whatever they
got
want.
In their situation.
They go to a place where somebody's be like, no. They'll be like, what the fuck did you just say to me?
This is a very sweet question. Guilty Angel asked Mandy, may I ask your favorite part of Dale's book?
Oh.
Isn't that sweet?
Yeah.
Mandy said, I have a few. I love Dale's description of experiencing Hollywood on arrival. Also loved when RD stuck up for him. I love the dramatic dialogue between him and he who shall not be named in the Major Juicy scene.
He who shall not be named.
That's wonderful.
He who walks behind the rose. Isn't that what it's called?
Isn't that a saying about the devil?
It's Children of the Corn.
Oh.
He who walks behind the rose.
Oh, I see.
When I was doing my trivia, I just referred to him as he who.
Oh, that's interesting. He who?
He who.
That's great. So what was your next topic?
Thank you for those kind compliments, guys. My next topic is, so on this live, I think it was even yesterday, but I think it was this week. I know it was this week. I talked about the theory. Somebody asked about Tobey Maguire, and then I got on the whole theory, the Spider-Man theory, and that he saw an opportunity, that his manager saw an opportunity that he could get Peter Parker in the 90s if Leo was going to turn it down. 100% Leo was going to turn that down. There was no fucking doubt. There's no doubt.
Yeah, he doesn't want to play.
And so without
the guy
a doubt,
wears a mask the whole movie.
So I think it's almost as without a doubt as Leo turning it down, that Leo would also go out of his way to help Tobey Maguire get that role. The one thing that might have stood in Tobey's way in 1995 to get the James Cameron version of Spider-Man would have been Don's Plummet. I made this contention. And it's like a contention I just throw out there because I'm just saying randomly that anecdotally, I don't think that James Cameron would have hired Tobey Maguire had Don's Plum been released. And I still believe that to this day, right? And I think they believe that. Well, some unlikely sort of circumstantial proof surfaced today in a different case. Listen to this. Winona Ryder says a Marlon Brando movie revoked, tore her offer up, unless due to Heathers.
Oh.
Yeah, they were deeply offended.
What?
And she had to stand her ground. She
was amazing in Heathers.
Her quote was, "I am not going to apologize."
What?
But there it is, dude. There it is. Like I know.
Wait, they had a problem with Heathers? Why?
Can we? My topic is.
Love that movie.
Well, I know. It's ridiculous. I'm not saying it's ridiculous, and I want to fucking fuck Marlon Brando and fuck all these guys for trying to bully her out of a role because she chose to
Did that movie
play
get
a
made?
character. Well, I don't know. I haven't read the whole article yet because I was thinking of Cosmic Urgency too much.
And how he's going to make fun of you for not reading the article?
She was warned against starring in Heathers. Now, it's not the same. It's the same. It's basically the same thing, right? I'm not going to allow ads. Can you go away? She lost the job, she said.
Yeah, but I don't even know if they made it. Who's she supposed to play in a Marlon Brando movie?
That's not the... It was for The Freshman.
For The Freshman?
Yeah, I've seen it. It was with Matthew Broderick.
Okay, but who played her role then? Let me see. I'm going over to my my app here, my movie app.
I don't know who played her role. It wasn't her.
No, not 1990.
Yeah.
No, when was Heathers?
The Freshman was probably back then, yeah. Heathers was like 89 or something.
Oh, wow. Okay.
She was told not to take the role because they thought it was making fun of teen unaliving.
Penelope Ann Miller got it?
Yeah.
I mean, whatever, dude. Heathers was a bigger movie than this. I've never even heard of this one.
Well, it was Marlon Brando, dude. And that's not the point of the conversation. The point of the conversation is that literally here's a huge star, Marlon Brando, and he and or his, the filmmakers did not want to work with Winona Ryder because she was in a different movie that they objected to.
Dude, you just can't win. She made an amazing movie, and they wanted to make fun of her for it or cut her out for it.
So as you can see, my little theory that Leonardo DiCaprio, that Tobey Maguire needed to stop Don's Plum because he thought it was going to interfere with his ability to get a movie,
right,
has legs.
Well, it's so weird too because Winona Ryder was the lead in Heathers, and she's not even, her character in The Freshman isn't even in the description. Yeah,
that's not how the game works. Working with Marlon Brando is too huge of a deal.
Yeah, I don't know.
And it matters so much.
I don't even know if they'd be scene partners.
Think about it as it doesn't matter. Think about it as fights. Okay, I actually saw the movie and I'm almost certain they do, but it doesn't matter.
Oh yeah, they have the same last name. The characters. So yeah, maybe.
Imagine. Think about fights, right? When a fighter's working his way or her way up to a championship fight, right? They take all these little fights, right? And sometimes along the way, they'll fight like a bigger name, even though they know it's going to be like a easy fight. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But they'll take on that big name so they can put it on their resume. Oh my God, he beat Muhammad Ali, or he beat John Jones, or whatever, right? Well, it's kind of the same way in Hollywood. When you add a Marlon Brando to your resume, all other doors fly open. You get it's a bigger opportunity than Heathers, even though Heathers ended up becoming this cult classic that was ended up being a real boon for her resume. And Freshman, and by the way, nobody knows what a fucking movie's going to be before the movie. It's a Marlon Brando movie with Matthew Broderick. You're like, okay, this could be huge. And he's playing like a mob boss in it, and reminiscence of Godfather, adding a little comedy to it. So again, you don't know what the that could, you don't know that wasn't when the opportunity comes your way. You don't know that that's not going to be his next Oscar for Marlon Brando.
I don't know, man. You can't convince me that anything of value was lost there to Winona Ryder.
I'm not saying there is.
Heathers is such a fucking classic.
I told you why I'm telling this story. It's because
that's a top tier film.
Puts legs under my theory that this is the very same thing that they were trying to avoid.
Yep.
This is the way they think.
Yeah, that's the way.
Our movie became an obstacle for Tobey Maguire, and he totally sacrificed my life and my career to overcome that obstacle for his own personal gain. And I believe that wholeheartedly. And when I saw this headline, I couldn't have been more excited because I believe that it, because I was putting that out there. I've never heard this in a conversation. Like, oh, I mean, you do when you hear like people doing like softcore or whatever. But there it is.
Also, 1 degree of separation from Winona Ryder. There was that one of the pieces of evidence that always sticks with me from the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial was when she claimed that her director was being inappropriate with her, and he wrote a letter trying to get him canceled on an allegation.
Yeah.
And he he had no business with this guy's film, but he was like I have to find that letter because I remember it being like, oh, there it is.
There it is.
Buried in this town is what this guy is trying to do.
Buried in this town, dude. I'm going to write the book. I'm going to write the book.
Do you want to hear more about your book from the chat?
Yeah, sure. It's always fun to hear.
Mandy asked Guilty Angel, what's the favorite scene? Guilty Angel said, I love how Dale describes Leo.
Oh, that's funny.
Particularly how he says he was watching Leo before a scene. I'm not doing it justice. I will cite the page when I have the book in front of me. Mandy said, I love the gross details about Maguire too. Saliva King. Guilty Angel said, I know some of the things in my book made my eyeballs pop out. Mandy said, same, my jaw was on the floor.
I was going to do, I was going to go, one of the marketing ideas, I may still do it. You never know. Maybe I'll do it when the kids are back in town. But I was going to go out, we're in a college town, so I was going to go out and just have people, I was like, Spider-Man, and just get them to sign a waiver because let them know that they're about to read a really sexually horrible scene. But I was just going to get people, do you know who Tobey Maguire is? Okay, great. Well, I worked with him and I'm in a dispute with him and I wrote this book and I was wondering if you would be willing to just read this scene that I wrote and just like if I could just record it or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Because I just want to record. I just want to watch people go from completely like, first of all, I've never seen anybody. I've watched you read it for the first time. Like I sat next to you and I watched you read it and I watched your face go from normal to
which scene?
A cocked. This would be the almond milk scene.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know the one.
The almond milk and the tofu
It
breakfast.
makes me squirm. Like I crawl up the back of the couch when I'm reading it every time. I've read that scene like a dozen times editing Dale's book, and each time is just agonizing. So yeah, that's a great idea. This is cute. Claire asked Cosmic Urgency, would you ever work with Dale again? Like in a movie? And then Mandy's like, Cosmic worked with Dale? I'm so confused.
Poor Mandy. She's like, Pedro Pascal, Cosmic Urgency worked with Dale.
And Cosmic Urgency said, after all the shit he's talked about the stuff.
I love how Cosmic's just game for any fucking question at all.
I know, I love it.
It's so great.
He said, enough is never enough. Mandy said, Tobey Maguire is a weirdo. Pass it on.
That's very funny. Do I have anything else here for you tonight? Let me see.
Mandy has a question for you.
We didn't do any TikTok questions either, so. Yes, Mandy.
Dale, what was the best / toughest part of writing your book? Did you have to step away at any point for your mental health from reliving it? I imagine it was cathartic in parts, but also traumatic.
Yeah. Well, I did have to step away some days, and there were days when all I did was cry. Like I didn't even write. Like there were days where I just came in and I sat down, and then I would try to start, and then I would just get hit hard by the emotions of it, and then I couldn't do anything other than cry, and I would sit there and cry for like 2 hours, and then I would try, and then I would try to write. It was there were times when it was an extremely difficult thing to do, but I loved it. I loved the process, even through the most darkest parts of it. I loved it. I could feel the cleansing of it. I could.
Yeah,
I could feel like it. I could feel like it was rinsing off of me. The other thing that it did was, it got me to relive in such vivid detail everything that we went through, and it really just affirmed we didn't do anything wrong. It's real easy to get gaslit, quite frankly. I remember I was on a call with RD a few years ago, and he started to tell me that we had done something wrong. I was like, "What the fuck are you saying?" He was like, "Come on, Dale." I was like, "RD, you were at the MGM screening. You were at CAA. What the fuck are you talking about?"
That's so sad. So he has to convince himself that he deserved it in order to make it easier to reconcile.
I honestly think it was because I think he's always wanted to be back with them as friends.
God, that's
and
so hard.
Kevin Connolly and Scott Bloom had reached out to him by then multiple times.
Yeah.
And I think a part of him was this, I think it's a part of him wanting to restore that part of his life. And
they're not good people, bro. You don't need them. That's fucked up.
Oh yeah. I do have one more thing that's on the front page, right? That TikTok cult.
Oh yeah.
What was it? The name of the documentary was
Dancing for the Devil.
Dancing
right?
for the Devil.
It was so good.
It was so good. So this documentary is about a TikTok cult run by a pastor.
It's a religious cult where they all live in the same house and they're dancers and they make their money dancing on TikTok.
Yes.
But then the religious cult leader will take their money and hold their money and not let them leave or use their money or anything. And so it becomes this like a kidnapped, captive type situation where they have to keep performing for the cult. But they're all buying into it, and they
worship him,
and their family members are really concerned, and they can't reach them, and then they end up breaking up with their family members and like writing these really heartbreaking letters, like I can't be associated with you. My cult leader said so.
All the culty things that they do, yeah.
So he got arrested.
He got served a warrant for sex trafficking.
Wow.
He got money laundering, tax evasion, there's a string of very serious charges in the warrant.
That documentary is really amazing.
It's a warrant though. It's not. These aren't charges. These are warrants.
Oh, he wasn't charged?
No, they raided the house and they took all the computers and they just they're investigating.
Charges are pending.
Yeah, it's coming, baby.
The documentary is really interesting too because they have these hidden recordings of him doing his sermons, and they're so mind controlling.
Yeah, and so they had them
shameless.
So they had these chopper shots outside the house. So they had all the like members are all in like cuffs and sat outside the house on the sidewalk in front of the house.
Dude, I bet their families are so happy. I bet their families are so happy they might be
praying like
liberated.
crazy right now that this is the beginning of the end.
You have to do some like re-education or something, right? When somebody finally breaks free from a cult, isn't there some like undoing you have to do mentally?
Yeah. Again, I have to figure out the name of that fucking movie. Did you write it down? The James Woods one that we had the conversation and somebody in chat knew the James Woods movie about deprogramming a cult member.
That was a million years ago though, so I have to look.
That movie is wild. That movie is so wild.
There's also been a lot of really great books written about it recently.
I don't read books.
I want to read every book. It really stresses me out how many books I want to read and how I can't.
I'm stuck on Beloved though. Got me. Fuck. I got to just go through. I just got to get through it.
You got to put it back on the shelf and pick up another book, bro.
Huge breakthrough for this TikTok group, bro. This is such good news.
Yeah, I wish them the
hope
best.
that those families must be feeling is got to be real. I have two short things that I won't leave till Monday because I'll forget about them. Jamie Lee Curtis is rebooting Murder, She Wrote.
That's fun.
Yeah.
She's going to be in it?
Yeah, she's going to be Angela Lansbury.
That's fun.
It's going to be a totally different take.
My mom loved that show.
It was great. I remember seeing it's an episodic, so you can just jump in anytime.
Have you also heard that Columbo is like a really big hit show?
Well, I watched every episode of that show.
Like I was just scrolling through. We have Peacock, that streaming service.
Yeah.
And we're gonna cancel it soon because they're raising their prices. But like when they say like top shows, they have their like little list of all of the top shows that people are watching. Columbo was first.
It's so good.
I believe it. Oh. I love that for everybody that Columbo is like this like comfort watch. For
it's
people.
One of the best TV shows ever made.
Really good.
It's so fucking great. I've seen every episode of it. I used to do impersonations of him as a kid.
That's fun that they're redoing it.
Well, he is. Is it Peter Falk? Mm-hmm. Absolute genius. Loved him beyond my ability to express. And the last thing I have is another interesting reboot, or not a reboot. It's a spinoff. Rick and Morty are doing a spinoff called President Curtis, starring Keith David. It was announced at Comic-Con.
I can't. I didn't follow the aftermath of the big controversy where dude got fired because he was being a sex pest.
Yeah, he's gone.
So he's gone. And gone. So they're doing another.
He's long gone. They replaced him, fairly quickly actually.
Yeah, that's a weird thing to happen for a big property like that.
Especially on the main voice or one of the main voices. Did you like that show,
Rick and Morty?
Yeah, I liked it fine. I mean, it was like animations are like I can only take so much of them, and then I just tune out.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know what it is with me. My brother is a comic book artist, as most of you know, and if not all of you, and he just really pushed that shit on me so heavily, like cartoons every Saturday. And
your brother ruined cartoons for you?
I was like a reality guy. He didn't ruin them so much as just like really kind of forced the damn issue. Whereas like I'm like a really reality based guy, like I always have been. So like my Saturday mornings would have been better spent. There were cartoons I loved, like I loved The Amazing Spider-Man, and I sang it every day. Spider-Man. I just love that shit.
This dog is like snore dreaming over here.
But most of the cartoons and stuff I didn't really like that much.
Yeah.
And, you know,
I fucking love cartoons. I love them. I eat them up.
I did buy into the Disneys because I'm a touchy-feely guy. You know, I'm fucking, you know, 7th house Taurus, and I'm a touchy-feely guy. I'm
touchy-feely guy like Pedro Pascal touchy-feely?
I'm a Scorpio, only to people I'm not sexually attracted to. I'm also Scorpio, so I'm like, you know, I got a lot of emotion, a lot of feeling, and so I got into the Disney stuff, like Fox and the Hound, like destroyed me.
Ugh, don't even talk about that show.
I'll never look.
It's fucked up. It's fucked up.
You know what? This is like, it's so weird because of my life, the way my life went. The line and the moment.
Don't do it.
Fox and the Hound that stuck with me forever was that they had all been playing. The Fox and the Hound had been playing, right?
Traumatizing.
And then Copper went home, and dude was like playing beneath the tree with the owl, and he's just so happy because he met this new friend, and they're gonna and they love each other, and she knows like he's a fox and that's a hound and shit's gonna get ugly eventually, and she says a line to him that went something like, the hair's already standing over my arms. It wrecked me. And it's so crazy when you think about where my life went. But the line is, he's the fox whose name escapes me. He's below the tree and he says, we'll be friends forever. That's what he says about him and Copper. I remember Copper because I remember a line specifically that was like, hey, Copper, what you sniffing at? Because he's like...
So he says the line.
He says, we'll be friends forever. And then the owl says... Oh, because she knows, you know. And So she takes a little sigh and she goes, oh, forever is a long time, honey. And time has a way of changing things. Oh, which is this beautiful, prophecy, perfect foreshadow.
It's such a premonition for you.
It's the perfect foreshadow. But yes, it ends up being a premonition in my life.
Horrible.
Because that moment in that script, in that movie, I was just totally like wrapped. I was just... I was just emotionally, I loved their friendship. I loved their bond so much.
I do think that's the best, when the audience is in on some information or they have some knowledge that the characters don't. That's always the most like delightful experience in storytelling, you know?
We had a really nice night tonight. I know I didn't call all you guys out, but it's just all the regulars tonight. We had a really quiet night otherwise. So it was nice to see all you guys as usual. And, you know, you always get called out when I'm reading your stuff. But if you didn't get called out tonight, it's not because I have any less love for you than I did last night. So thank you for hanging out with us. We had a great time. Did you have a good time? I say we.
I had a good time. I had a really, really rough day today. It was a super stressful day, and it was just really nice to hang and
just like unwind it a bit.
Work it out, yeah.
Can I make you some popcorn?
I'd love that. Yes.
I know you don't want to watch Billy Madison. What can we tell everyone we're going to go watch right now? What do you want to go watch?
Something mindless.
Something mindless?
Yeah, Billy Madison probably would fit this.
Murder. We're going to go watch Murder, aren't we?
I don't know.
You guys are so wonderful. I hope you guys have the best weekend of your lives.
Oh, right. It's the weekend.
And
TGIF, everybody.
On Monday, I hope it also becomes the best Monday of your life, and that you'll share the latter part of it with us when we're back at 7 o'clock. I had a really great time tonight. I know I was a little edgy tonight. I don't know why.
Whatever. You're ready for the weekend is what's up.
Maybe it's a TGIF IF situation.
You've been doing too much.
You know, a lot of fucking technical issues, and then your mic's falling down. I'm ready to like kick something.
Oh, I know. I think there's a screw right here that just needs to be tightened. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. I got to like tighten all the screws.
That's it.
You guys, you mean so much to us. We thank you so much for spending your time. I can't believe you do it. But I'm just going to pretend that we're providing some kind of value. I hope we'll see you Monday. Again, I just had the greatest time ever. So appreciate you through and through, especially when you're cynical. Good night, guys.
Good night, everybody.